On his way back from the market, just like any other day, the young man, Jin, bumped into a toad so ugly it was an insult to the eyes. He felt a headache coming on, annoyed at being tripped up by a monster when he was just minding his own business. He silently cursed the government agencies for not doing their jobs properly. Without a second thought, he pulled out the damn leek he'd just bought and whacked the monster with it. As it spat out a Coca-Cola can, Jin leaped in and finished the stupid toad off. It gushed blood and collapsed with a thud. After a weary sigh, Jin looked at his ruined leeks with regret. After all, they were expensive leeks. Jin was in fact an S-Rank awakened, the one reported to have died 8 years ago. He pulled out his triple-lens iPhone Pro Max and called the police. Hesitantly, he said, "Hello. In the alley where I'm standing, there's a dead monster, I think. It seems like some hunter dealt with it and then left. This place, I think it's an alley on the way to the supermarket. It looks like a very big, disgusting toad. And man, it stinks to high heaven. I don't dare look any closer." After being told someone would arrive in 5 minutes, the young man hung up. Jin rustled his grocery bag, thinking he should slip away before they arrived. When the spatial rifts, often called gates, first appeared among the few countries whose governments and military systems weren't paralyzed, the USA was at the forefront of adapting and responding quickly. The second fastest country to respond after the US was South Korea. This was undeniably due to the S-Rank awakened who emerged shining like stars. Hunter Jin, aside from his alias and gender, all other information about him was kept secret. This was Captain Korea of the turbulent times, the man who hadn't hesitated to charge into gates and dungeons to save countless people. Jin was also the former #1 hunter in Korea and its first S-Rank hunter. 8 years ago, he and 44 other hunters sacrificed themselves to close a high-level gate, becoming national heroes. No one would imagine that now he was just an ordinary Jin carrying a grocery bag from the market looking so utterly unremarkable. "I should have sounded more scared on the phone, right?" he mused. At this moment, Jin had no thoughts of returning to being a hunter. Exactly 5 minutes later, the support team arrived at the reported alley. A red-haired woman, hands on her hips, exclaimed, "Wow, this is incredible. To take down a swamp toad so cleanly, it must have been a veteran, right? And if they were any slower, this monster would have spewed acid everywhere." In fact, Jin had dispatched it so cleanly that they thought it could even be handed over to the research team. The red-haired woman asked the young man beside her, "Are there any traces left?" "Check it out. If their skill level is this high, their power must be considerable." After checking with the scanner, the young man broke out in a cold sweat. How strong must this person be to leave absolutely no trace? They must be a professional hunter. The red-haired woman, hands still on her hips, looked annoyed. Probably another one of those anonymous hunters. Comics and novels teach kids all sorts of nonsense. I heard this monster that escaped was a grade 4. Luckily, it hadn't eaten anyone or damaged any buildings. Let's take this toad back. Suddenly, the young man's sharp nose detected the smell of leeks nearby. The red-haired woman didn't think much of it and guessed, "It probably picked up some leeks from a trash can to eat. But now that you mention leeks, I'm starving. Want to go to the usual spot after work?" The young man seemed tired of the idea already. "You mean that place we go to every day?" Meanwhile, in another scene, Jin was working as a waiter serving hangover soup to customers amidst a noisy, bustling atmosphere. Yes, just as you might be thinking, the anonymous one was also the nation's hero Jin, now working part-time at a hangover soup restaurant. The place was so busy it exhausted him. However, with his blunt nature, Jin sometimes pushed back against customers ordering more alcohol. "Hey, kid, bring me more soju." "No, sir, that's already your second bottle." The customer, startled, looked bewildered. "What are you talking about? I've only had 1 bottle," Jin replied bluntly. "I saw you put an empty bottle into your inventory earlier." He did this because of the clear rule posted on the wall, a 2-bottle limit per table to prevent drunken brawls. The man could only grumble, "I put that bottle in my inventory faster than catching a monster. His eyes are as sharp as a hawk's." Could he be a hunter? The young man in the pink shirt opposite him whispered, "But I asked our team leader and he said he's just an ordinary person." The first man still looked at Jin with a curious, suspicious gaze. "What if he's a hidden hunter or unregistered?" The man in the pink shirt waved his hand dismissively, laughing sheepishly. "No way. Being unregistered means a hefty fine. Besides, if he were a secret hunter, he'd be raiding dungeons. He's not crazy enough to work part-time at a soup restaurant like this." Thinking it over, the man in the black shirt licked his lips. "You're right. Those hidden skill types always look kind of shifty." The man in pink continued admiringly. "The team leader said if he ever awakens, we should recruit him immediately. His eyesight is good enough to catch you hiding a soju bottle in your inventory, and his stamina lets him carry several boiling pots at once. If he's this good before awakening, he'd be at least B rank after." The two continued whispering like this, thinking Jin couldn't hear, but in reality he heard every single word. While washing dishes, Jin thought to himself, how dare they discuss a veteran senior like me, wondering whether to recruit me to their team. I awakened long before any of them. Originally, Jin wasn't a part-timer at the Hangover Soup restaurant. A few months ago, the moment he opened his eyes, he found himself lying in a pile of garbage so foul-smelling it made him nauseous. Looking around, he was bewildered, having no idea where he was despite his clear memories of his past. He'd been fighting a basilisk. Jin remembered even stabbing his sword into its head. Thinking back, he was clearly inside a gate. Could that thing that looked like a gate have pushed him out? How much time had passed? Jin sniffed the air, trying to stand up on trembling legs. Following the clattering sound of knives, he found a small eatery feeling like a soulless husk. Is this a place that sells food? The old woman, seeing him, invited him in. Jin wasn't lucid. His head was spinning and he staggered. The old woman asked, "How did you get into such a state? Did you just come out of a dungeon or something?" Jin could only reply in an incredibly weak voice. Soon after, the old woman cooked something for him. The smoky aroma roused Jin. He ate like a man starved for years. After gulping it all down, Jin slowly came to his senses and felt a comforting warmth. He looked up at the TV screen and heard the news. A Grade 5 gate has appeared on the West Coast. 8 years ago, a similar Grade 1 rift had appeared. Jin was utterly bewildered. What? 8 years ago? The news continued. The gate suddenly escalated to Grade 1. The government dispatched S-Rank Hunter G along with 14 A-Rank Hunters and an additional 30 B-Rank Hunters into the gate. The gate on the West Coast disappeared after a week. Jin was stunned, completely bewildered. That team had clearly entered with him. The hunters sent there tragically could not return. 3 months after the gate on the West Coast disappeared, the Awakened Abilities Management Bureau confirmed that all hunters who entered the gate had perished. Without G, our country would have no future. The person discussing the loss on television was Song Jo-han, an S-Rank Awakened and director of the Samra Center. Jin froze upon hearing it. What the hell are they talking about? I'm clearly still alive. The spoon he was holding trembled violently and fell. The announcements continued like thunderclaps on the television. Jin and 44 other hunters bravely entered the gate on the West Coast. Thanks to them, we have the future we have today. We have a duty to look forward and move on. To Jin, the documentary commemorating the 8th anniversary of the Grade 1 gate event on the West Coast concludes here. Jin, trying to maintain his last shred of composure, turned to the old woman and asked, "Could I borrow your phone for a moment?" The instant he was allowed, like a madman, the young man lunged for it and dialed a number. To his utter shock, the operator announced that the number he had just dialed did not exist. Just like that, Jin felt crushed, unable to believe it. It's really 8 years later. Did I really just drop into a point 8 years in the future? More importantly, am I really dead? No, that can't be right. His heart pounded erratically, sweat beading on his face. He tried to calm himself. No, maybe the bureau chief just changed his phone number. I have to let them know how the hunters who went with me fought to the end, how they sacrificed themselves for this world. I absolutely have to go back inside that gate. Before losing a teammate, one had even advised him, "Hey, remember this well, the world has changed. You have power, so everyone relies on you. They expect you to save them all. But hey, you're still young. You don't have to save everyone. You can run away if you need to." Instantly, he stood up, took off the watch he was wearing, and politely offered it to the old woman. "Ma'am, this is all I have right now. Please accept it." The old woman smiled dismissively. "It's nothing, you don't need to repay me." Jin insisted, "No, ma'am. If not, then please let me leave it as a deposit. I'll come back for it later." It was now 8 years later. Looking at the world now, Jin saw it had changed a lot and was much safer than before. From text message warnings about impending gate occurrences to the swift deployment and handling of situations by the Management Bureau's hunters, people lived without fear and no longer desperately hoped for his return. In the moment he saw everyone's happiness and joy, Jin paused, thinking, I wonder if all those past sacrifices had any meaning now that Hunter Jin is gone. No one remembered the man named Cha Yu Jin's former renowned name, full name anymore. From that moment, he promised himself to live a quiet life. And so he applied for a job as an assistant at the restaurant. Currently, the young man was in a bookstore. In front of him was a sign with a familiar face on it inscribed with Hotline for Awakened Registration Counseling 777, reporting unregistered awakened and criminal activity 555. Jin mused. 9 years ago, awakened had a status comparable to the police force. Back then, only myself and the person on this sign were S-Rank. Now everywhere he looked, even no smoking signs and public service announcements featured images of Jong Min, the person on the sign. They had used the pretext of special recruitment to push Jong Min into the Management Bureau, and he was still being worked to the bone. Just as Jin was lost in thought, an elementary school-aged girl ran up to him. "Mister, I've chosen my book." With wide eyes, the little girl held out the book. Jin froze. The book was titled, When the Gates Appeared, and in the bottom right corner was a picture of a young man with his face blacked out, none other than him. Jin said nothing, only thinking, this is copyright infringement, you know. Even if I'm considered dead, they're using my image too carelessly, aren't they? While Jin paid 30,000 won for the book, the little girl stood below her eyes shining. "Are you done yet, mister? Let me carry the book." It seemed the little girl really wanted this book. As soon as they left the bookstore, the little girl excitedly asked, "Where are we going now?" With a weary expression, Jin clenched his fist. "Where else I'm taking you home, then I have to go back to the shop to prepare for the evening shift." The little girl pouted, complaining that it wasn't any fun. Jin managed a gentle smile. "There's a lot to prepare for in the evening, so we can't play. I'll buy you ice cream, and you can eat it at home with Grandma, okay?" Only then did the little girl agree and obey. The daily routine at the hangover soup shop included the following. First, at 600 a.m., the shop had to open to sell hangover soup to hunters who had partied all night until their 5th round, and to hunters who were forced to work overtime night shifts. Next, from 11:30 a.m. to 2:00 p.m., they sold lunch, hangover soup for hunters flooding in and out like a torrent. From 2:00 p.m. to 5:00 p.m., the shop would temporarily close for cleaning, dishwashing, and ingredient preparation. Then Jin would be responsible for picking up the little girl Yui from school. From 5:00 p.m. to 10:00 p.m. was the evening sales time. During this period, Jin would have to deal with hunters who had already drunk 2 bottles of soju but still pestered him for more. At 10:20 p.m., it was time to usher out customers and close the shop. It was still a process of Jin continuing to clean up until he was exhausted. The young man was extremely irritated. Anyway, unless awakened drink specially brewed alcohol, they can't even feel drunk from normal alcohol, so why do they keep demanding more? "Anyway, I worked really hard today," he said, patting his own back to stretch his muscles. After resting for a while, although tired, Jin felt that this life wasn't too bad. He no longer had to rush around because of the Management Bureau's summons, nor did he have to struggle to fight monsters. Perhaps he had once wished for a life like this. But one thing worried Jin recently. The old woman's legs had become noticeably weaker, and she always walked with a limp. After all, she was his only relative at present. He wanted her to go to the hospital for a checkup, so he asked, "Is there something wrong with your leg, Grandma?" The old woman waved her hand. "It's just because I'm old." In reality, Jin was constantly worried. What if the doctor says she needs surgery? In this moment, Jin sat there stunned and helpless. I should have lived in seclusion completely. Why on earth did I donate all the money I'd saved up over the years to the victims of the West Coast Gate incident? If things get really bad, I'll have to sneak into a dungeon and find something to sell. After all, items from dungeons fetch a high price. It might be enough to pay for surgery costs. But how do I get into a dungeon? And where would I even find one now? Just then the phone rang and Jin clattered over to answer it. "Yes, Hangover Soup Restaurant, how can I help you?" "We're currently closed." Before he could finish his sentence, a trembling voice came through. "What do I do, Yui? Yui's disappeared." Jin's hands trembled. "Grandma, what are you saying? You're saying Yui isn't there." The grandmother still couldn't compose herself. "Yui's gone. What do we do? The child just vanished without anyone noticing. The world outside is so dangerous these days, and she's out there all alone." To reassure her, Jin said, "First, I'll call the police. Please don't worry, Grandma. I'll go out and look for her too. You just rest. Nothing will happen." The grandmother still looked very worried. "Oh dear. What if something really happens to both you and the child?" Jin affirmed confidently. "I told you it'll be fine. Don't worry too much, okay?" All right. You be careful. She probably hasn't gone far, right? "Hey, Jinna, don't stay out looking too late. Make sure you come back. Don't overdo it, okay?" As soon as he hung up, Jin put on a mask and grabbed his tools, preparing to go out. There's no emergency alert about a gate suddenly opening, so she should be fine. Jin activated his awakened eyes and started to leave. After looking around for a moment, he determined the child wasn't in the immediate vicinity. He decided to run further to search, and suddenly his eyes detected something that made the young man stop short. What kind of awakened has flames burning this intensely? This doesn't seem like the level of an ordinary hunter. It's almost monster level. If I don't check this out, it could be a threat to Yui. He bent his knees and ran even faster. The young man tiptoed towards the source of the strange flames. Just as I thought. If a monster had this much power, the news and alert messages would have been going crazy. Those flames, they belong to an S-rank hunter like me. Is he wearing a gas mask? What a unique look. Let's go. Before I get caught up in something troublesome, I need to find Yui right away. Before he could leave, the S-rank man was right in front of Jin asking, "What are you doing here at this hour?" Looking straight into his eyes, Jin was startled and turned away. The man tilted his head, teasing, "I saw it, you know. The apron says, 'Love like it's the first time.' You seem like an ordinary person, huh?" Jin quickly replied, "Yes, that's right." The S-rank man continued, "Working late, huh? But what are you doing carrying a soup ladle around at this time of night?" Jin answered frankly. "I'm looking for my niece. She's not at home. I don't suppose you've seen a little girl about this tall an elementary school student with her hair tied back." After the S-rank man said he hadn't seen her, Jin wanted to slip away. "Excuse me, I'll be going then." Suddenly, the S-rank hunter turned and walked toward a figure still cowering on the ground. "Wait, let me ask this guy." After approaching, he just kicked the person a few times and then turned back to Jin. "Sorry, this guy doesn't know anything either." Jin could tell at a glance that he just wanted to kick the man, not actually ask him anything. But to be polite, Jin replied courteously, "It's okay, you've worked hard. Well, I'll be going then." This person still didn't want to let him go. He even tilted his head again and continued. Wait, this is strange. I feel like we've met somewhere before. Jin stated firmly, I'm sure, but I've never met you before. In reality, Jin was thinking, his concept is so striking there's no way I would have met him somewhere and not remembered. Seeing the doubtful look in Jin's eyes, the S-Rank hunter finally let him go. All right, then go. Don't tell anyone what you saw today. Suddenly, the moment he turned his back, Jin sensed sharp spikes flying towards him. He swiftly turned around and went into a defensive stance. The S-Rank hunter froze. Jin tensed. Damn it. My body reacted instantly. This is really bad. What ordinary civilian can spin around and deflect sharp spikes hurtling towards them like that? As expected, the S-Rank hunter called out to him again. Hey, you. But in times like these, I have to pretend I don't know anything. So Jin replied quickly and concisely, I have to go now because I need to find my niece. The S-Rank hunter moved closer, asking Jin's name. Annoyed, Jin grimaced and said he didn't have one. The S-Rank man decided to press further. Oh, so you haven't chosen a hunter alias for yourself yet, right? Jin glanced back. It's not just that I don't have a name. The other man said excitedly, Then let me name you. Jin kept his scowl. Are you running a name registration and branding center or something to be this enthusiastic I really have to go? Aren't you worried about a child wandering around alone like this in the middle of the night? The man immediately pulled out his phone and started typing. Write the child. I'll have my team members look for her. Just wait a bit, okay? Jin was stuck. It's hard to escape at this point. No, I don't need your help. I respectfully decline. I'll ask for help from the police. The S-Rank hunter saw through him and threatened, Then I'll call the Awakened Management Bureau, shall I? Jin flinched, his voice trembling. Why would you call the Management Bureau? With smiling eyes, the S-Rank man continued. Hunters can find people much faster with their powers than the police, you know. Do you like Jong-min? If I call him, he'll come right away. Should I call him for you? Jin was speechless. Are you serious? Jin was getting a headache. I've gotten involved with the wrong person. If we keep bickering like this, who knows when it'll end? Therefore, he asked directly, What do you want from me that you keep trying to hold me back? The S-Rank hunter stepped closer. I'll just ask 2 questions. 1, is that soup ladle an S-Rank weapon you're trying to hide from everyone? Or 2, are you an unregistered awakened? Jin was angry but tried to maintain his composure. These days, do hunters eat their own dignity along with their rice talking so informally to someone they just met? I've tried to be patient this far. Well, since he'd been patient, he decided to be patient to the end. The hunter continued. That doesn't look like an S-Rank weapon, so you must be an awakened who hasn't registered with the Management Bureau. Jin clenched his fists and argued back. I am not an unregistered awakened, okay? The man retorted. If you're going to bluff, at least make it sound a little convincing. Jin insisted, I'm telling the truth. In fact, he wasn't lying. If his name hadn't been removed from the list because he was presumed dead, he was indeed registered. The S-Rank hunter said nothing more and attacked directly. Jin had no choice but to use the soup ladle to defend himself. Suddenly, something like poison caused the ladle to gradually turn black. Jin froze when he recognized the reaction. Basilisk venom. The S-Rank hunter smirked. An ordinary soup ladle. An unawakened, unregistered person, yet you can block my attack. There's no way I wouldn't know someone with abilities like this. Jin couldn't maintain his composure any longer and snapped back. Hey, shut your mouth! How old are you anyway? The S-Rank hunter raised his hand in introduction. 24. Jin scolded angrily. A young person like you talking so informally to someone you just met for the first time, huh? The S-Rank hunter froze. But you look about the same age as me. Jin decided to go all out. Hey, compared to you, I've eaten over 5,000 more bowls of rice. At this point, Jin unleashed his power, the aura of a superior, and pointed his finger, lecturing, "Even with twins, the one born just a minute earlier is the elder sibling, you hear me? Why do you keep talking so informally?" The man shrugged after hearing this. All right. I understand, Yiong." Jin froze, being suddenly called Yiong by someone out of nowhere. "Yiong your head." The man continued to prattle on. "If you don't like me calling you Yiong, then tell me your name." Jin waved his hand. "Just don't call me anything." Hey, so I'll call you Yiong, okay?" Jin was annoyed. "I told you not to call me that." The S-rank guy teased him to the end. "Yes, Yiong." A storm was raging inside Jin, but his face had to remain calm. "Let's stop this nitpicking. Talking back and forth is just a waste of time. If you want to probe, this should be enough." With that, Jin turned to leave, and the S-rank man called out again. "I've never been like that." Jin didn't want to argue. "The 2 questions are done okay, but you answered one question and you haven't answered the other one." Jin remained insistent. "I told you I wasn't lying. It's just that you don't believe me. Besides, you didn't set a condition that I absolutely had to answer your question." After being directly confronted and picked apart by Jin, the S-rank hunter stood frozen. Suddenly, a phone rang. After answering the call, he gave a sheepish grin, while Jin still faced away, scowling. "If it weren't for Yui, I would have dealt with you ages ago." The man spoke loudly into the phone. "Ah, is that so? Come here." "Yes, okay. Then I'll bring the guardian there. You look after the child properly. Don't make her cry." The S-rank hunter turned to Jin. "Yiong, they said they found your niece. She's at the playground next to a nearby church." Only then did Jin let out a sigh of relief. "All right. Thank you." Suddenly, the man introduced himself. "Lisa Yiong." "That's my name." "Let's meet again next time, Yiong. You absolutely have to tell me your real identity then." Looking at the figure slumped on the ground, Lisa Yiong grabbed him, accompanied by gurgling sounds of dissolution. "The frequency of their appearances seems to have increased a lot lately." Unexpectedly, a head poked out from the wall. "Captain, I have a report. The guardian just arrived at the playground and has met the child. The child was very happy and called that person Uncle. She even hugged him." All Lisa Yiong cared about was whether any special situation had occurred. The young man, while petting a cat, reported, "No, nothing. To be safe, should I follow them?" Lisa Yiong ordered him, "Follow them. Confirm where they go, then report back to me." The young man then relayed another message. "Also, the vice captain has a message for you. He asks if you can meet about the dungeon auction at 11:00 a.m. the day after tomorrow." After receiving a nod, the young man said he would relay the confirmation to the vice captain. Lisa Yiong suddenly remembered something and added, "Seo Minky go through all the awakened data. Filter for those over 25 height slightly above 180 centimeters awakening level B rank or higher and report back to me. Exclude anyone with a strange appearance. Only keep those who look ordinary." Minky frowned, looking curious. "Sir, data on awakened individuals, that's confidential information from the Awakened Management Bureau. If you give me some time, I can dig it out, but the life of an employee working for a hunter company isn't easy." Lisa Yiong continued to instruct, "Then go dig. Also find out the name of the elementary school student who was just picked up." Instantly, Seo Minky had the information. "Ah, the child's name is Park Yui. She's in the 2nd grade at Seobon Elementary School." Lisa Yiong issued another order. "Check the child's family relationships." Minky looked very surprised. "Family relationships? Why is that?" Lisa Yiong didn't hide it. "I have some interest in the person who calls himself the child's uncle." Having just returned home after a heart-stopping scare, Yui got a few smacks from her grandmother, her mouth still shouting, "I wanted to play at the playground a little longer. Gee." After a few slaps, the little girl sobbed, thinking she was being unfairly punished, while her grandmother repeatedly beat her own chest to keep calm. Good heavens, I thought you'd run away. My heart nearly gave out several times. What were you doing going out to a place like that so late at night? Don't you know how scary the world is now? Jin gently took his grandmother's hand. When she wakes up tomorrow morning, I'll discipline her, so please don't scold her anymore, Grandma. The grandmother turned to Jin. Jinna, are you sleeping over tonight? No, Grandma. I have to go back to the shop now to prepare for tomorrow's sales. Her face looked worried. Is business at the shop still okay? I should come by and see how things are. Jin smiled to reassure her. Yes, it's still very good. You know I'm strong, so I can handle it. But I was also going to ask how your legs have been lately. Looking down at her legs, which seemed like they could barely support her, she still tried to reassure him. My legs are fine. They're almost healed. Just by looking, Jin knew she was lying. Even now, she was putting all her weight on her non-painful leg, and so he returned to the shop. Grandma, good night. Also, Grandma, can I borrow your window? The grandmother looked confused, not knowing what Jin intended to do. He just smiled sheepishly, not wanting to explain. I have a little something to do. I'll call you tomorrow to check in. With that, Jin went out through the window. In fact, he knew someone was following him. I was wondering why he let me go so easily. Turns out he had someone tailing me. He lightly lifted his shoes and activated his silent steps. Sure enough, 2 men were standing guard in front of the door, and 2 more were waiting in the alley behind. They made no other movements, proving that Jin's exit through the window hadn't been detected. He tried to stay as quiet as possible to observe them. I could take them all down, but they'd immediately start tailing me again. They're just following orders. I shouldn't make a big deal out of this and become an enemy of that organization. However, Jin considered ambushing them from behind. He decided to only subdue them to the point of temporary unconsciousness. The 2 men standing guard for a long time seemed to be getting bored and said to each other, He went in and hasn't come out. Looks like he went straight to sleep. How boring. And the captain told us to be on high alert. The blonde-haired man yawned. Let's wait in front for another 30 minutes. If there's still no movement, we'll head back. We still have to buy fish-shaped bread on the way. While both were off guard, Jin reached for the blonde man's collar. After a few thwacks, both had bags pulled over their heads and fainted. Once done, Jin checked if the 2 were dead. Is this good enough? Their pulses were still beating, their breathing even. Sorry, I just need to go through your wallets for a bit. He started fumbling from top to bottom, finally finding it. In the wallet was a Pado Team 1 Combat Support ID card, Jong Hyuk. So, they're from the Pado team. All hunters have a duty to protect civilians, but Jin didn't know if these were decent hunters. There's no worst-case scenario, only a worse one. Not leaving immediately, Jin decided to pull out a pen and write on their shirts as a warning. By the time he reached the shop, it was almost 12 a.m. The time left to prepare ingredients was less than he thought. Suddenly, Jin startled, stopping and looking at his apron. He even recalled Lisa Yiong's mocking words, I saw it. The apron says, love like it's the first time. See you next time, buddy. Just thinking about it made Jin fume. He slammed the damn apron on the ground and put on another one. I suddenly feel like I've lost. He decided to search for the name Lisa Yiong online to see if there was any information. After searching, information finally appeared. Korea's 3rd S-Rank awakened Lisa Yiong, ranked number 1 in new rankings. So, who is this person? Journalist John Soo-jin commented, Can this person fill the void left by Jay and become hunter number 1? Lisa Yiong leads Pado Team, a small mercenary unit. Lisa Yiong holds the number 1 position, causing surprise due to his attitude at official meetings. Jin, while washing dishes, felt an itch of annoyance. It really can't get any unluckier than this. Of all people to run into, it had to be the number 1 ranked hunter. My luck is truly rotten to the core. I took a job at a hangover soup shop to live in seclusion and hide my strength, but it turns out this is a favorite spot for hunters. And now the person I've revealed my strength to is the top-ranking hunter. But the strongest person among all the hunters in this country was fighting in that small alley, and that person who threw the sharp spikes. There's more than one or two suspicious things here. Jin grabbed his phone and started typing. He tried searching for basilisk in the search bar, but there were no results and he couldn't find any related cases. There wasn't even any gossip or any content about someone witnessing it. Either the news is still being suppressed and hasn't been announced, or those higher up have controlled the information. Jin started to think about a worse scenario. So the dangerous element right now is that Lisa Yiong might find me, and that would threaten the safety of Grandma and Yui. The next day, when it was light, Lisa Yiong was holding a piece of paper and reading it intently. Mess with them, and you'll know what's what. South Korea is a country with many strong hunters. Among them, 3 teams stand out the most. The first team, led by Captain Song Jo-han, is the team that has proven the winning capabilities of S-rank hunters over a long period. They have built a solid foundation and left a strong, indelible mark on the Korean hunter community. The first official team of Korea is named Samra. The second team was formed shortly after the Keenus, likely a major gate event incident gathering knowledgeable researchers. They focus on information gathering and research rather than building fame and fortune. A team comparable to a vessel of knowledge named Sargon. Finally, there is a team that has the capabilities of both the above teams, but is more streamlined, named Pado, an elite force. Lisa Yiong was lost in thought when someone ran up and asked, "Yiong, what are you staring at so intently? Is it a letter? Who sent it?" Lisa Yiong scowled. "You're too curious. Let's have the meeting." All the members were gathered in the room, but 4 were absent. Immediately, the red-haired woman reported, "Vice Captain, those guys are in the treatment room. They've probably been there for about a day." The vice captain looked very surprised. "What, those guys didn't even go into a dungeon to fight? How did this happen?" The red-haired woman spread her hands. "I don't know where they got beaten up." Hearing this, the vice captain exploded. "What, who dares to pick a fight with our people? How can we let this slide?" The red-haired woman pointed towards Lisa Yiong. "Of course we were planning to get to the bottom of it, but the captain said to let it be." Hearing this, the vice captain was stunned, then walked over exasperated. "Hey, our little ones got beaten up like that and you say to let it be? What about the honor of our Pado team then?" Lisa Yiong didn't want to drone on about the issue. "Leave it. That's an order. Start the meeting." The Pado vice captain, with a helpless expression, said to Jisoo, "Jisoo, relay the meeting content to those guys who are laid up, okay?" Jisoo looked annoyed. You always assign this to me." The vice captain began the meeting. "All right, let's start the meeting about selecting dungeons for this quarter. Everyone turn on your tablets and open the file sent by the support department. In this auction, a new underground dungeon has appeared right at Jongno 3ga Station. This dungeon is said to contain items used to craft stamina recovery potions. Additionally, many other diverse items can be found there." Upon seeing it, Jisoo's eyes lit up. If it's at Jongno 3ga Station, transportation is convenient. That's great. Why did the government agree to put this dungeon up for auction? The man wearing a green tie also commented, "They must be really short on cash. The auction price will probably be extremely high. I think all the dungeons up for auction this quarter are okay, but I'm voting for this dungeon." Jisoo also raised her hand enthusiastically, and just like that, others followed suit. The vice captain also turned to Lisa Yiong. "I'm also casting a vote for this dungeon. What do you think?" After receiving a nod, the vice captain continued to announce, "If there are no other opinions, I'll finalize that in this year's 4th quarter auction, we will bid to secure the underground dungeon at Jongno 3ga Station. That concludes today's meeting." Suddenly, Lisa Yiong asked everyone to stay for a moment. This situation made everyone's faces show confusion and anxiety, thinking, is Lisa Yiong planning to bid on another dungeon? Or is he going to tell us to snatch the bidding rights from another team? Yiong asked a question that made everyone's jaw drop. Has anyone ever seen a man around here wearing an apron with a soju brand logo on it? Someone who often carries a soup ladle this big looks quite handsome black hair. No, I think it was gray. The vice captain started to look confused and then whispered, Hey, do you guys really not know anything? Jisoo snorted. If the vice captain doesn't know who would... The members all knew that Yiong wouldn't casually bring up trivial matters right before a meeting ended like this. With a dangerous expression, the vice captain turned to Yiong. Where did you see them holding a soju sales event? Jisoo also laughed awkwardly. Ha ha ha, Captain, did you just come back from the supermarket? In reality, the vice captain was thinking that their captain had been struck by love at first sight and had even praised the person's looks. Seeing this utterly disgusting misunderstanding, Lisa Yiong could only feel helpless. You guys are no damn help at all. Hearing this, the Pado vice captain slammed his fist on the table in anger. Who brings up a man wearing an apron in the middle of an auction discussion? Right after that slam, the work table cracked in half, scorched. This is going to be a pain. The man in the green tie looked straight into the vice captain's eyes. Vice Captain, I'll submit the damage claim for the meeting table to you. You'll compensate for the tablet too, okay? In utter confusion, Yiong said everyone could end the meeting and go eat. Although furious, the vice captain didn't forget to remind Yiong, Hey, you can't skip meals anymore, you hear? Everyone looked at Yiong. Captain, it's not just 1 or 2 days you've been skipping meals. You should go eat. After a throbbing headache, the vice captain suggested everyone go to the hangover soup shop. Upon hearing this, Jisoo's face turned pale. Why do you keep eating hangover soup? If we go there again today, I'm not eating with you anymore, vice captain. The vice captain fanned out some money, coaxing, Come on, my treat. Jisoo, with a headache of her own, said, I can't hear anything I'll eat in the cafeteria. You go alone. The vice captain waved his hand dramatically. Come on, who's coming with me? After a blink, the room was empty. The Pado vice captain was left fuming. Even when they had to flee from a grade 2 monster, they didn't run this fast. What a disloyal bunch. Do you guys know why I always go to that hangover soup shop? It's because the more crowded a place is, the faster you can pick up rumors, you know? I go there to interact with other hunters and gather a lot of information. Making connections with others, that's the real reason I go there. It's absolutely not because of the hangover soup. Okay? Saying that, he probably dug his own grave. When the vice captain arrived at the restaurant, he looked utterly pathetic, yet his mouth shouted happily, 1 serving of your best hangover soup, please. The kind that's to die for. Normally, he wouldn't pay attention to the shop staff, but suddenly seeing Jin today, he froze. Huh. While the man stood there, stunned, Jin spoke enthusiastically. You want the extra spicy one, right? You came at just the right time. A little later and you would have had to wait in line. He looked again and again at the apron, and then he looked so handsome and his hair color matched Yiong's description exactly. Seeing the man frozen, Jin asked again, Sir? Sir Hunter? Only then did the man snap out of it. Ah, yes, that's right, lots of chili peppers, please. Looking back and forth at Jin, B, likely the vice captain's nickname or a placeholder for his name, broke out in a sweat, his heart pounding. In such an old, shabby place, there's someone this handsome and good-looking. I think he said he was a distant cousin-in-law of the second cousin of the old lady who owns the hangover soup shop. I think he lost his family due to a gate opening, and then while searching for his lost relatives, he coincidentally met the old lady owner. He had nowhere else to go, so he came to the shop of his grandmother, his only remaining blood relative in this world, and stayed here to help with the shop's work. The important thing is, with this young man working here, I can eat more hangover soup without worrying about the old lady. But normally young people want to become civil servants like hunters, right? Who would want to work part-time in a restaurant like this? But his clothes don't look like the person Yiong mentioned. The moment the bowl of hangover soup arrived, B lost all reason. Thinking back, there's no way Yiong would meet a part-timer from a hangover soup shop. They probably wouldn't even cross paths by chance. Elsewhere, while Yiong was scrolling through his iPad, Jong-min, an S-rank hunter, came to see him. Captain Yiong, awakened data is not to be used for personal purposes. Hearing this, Yiong guessed that Seo Minky had been found out. Thinking back, how could rank 33 Minky get past rank 3 Jong-min? That's a given. The difference in ranking is a world apart. Seeing Yiong still silent, Jong-min gave a forced smile and tapped his fingers on the table. Hunter Lisa Yiong, can you at least show some reaction when someone is talking to you? At that moment, Yiong replied, there's an unregistered person. His abilities are at least B rank or higher. He can walk around freely like that, and you guys don't need to check. Jong-min clutched his head, looking disbelieving. You know how strict our country's laws are regarding the registration of awakened. The fine is in the hundreds of millions. Who would hide their strength and not register? Yiong continued to scroll through images with a confident voice. That person doesn't appear in the awakened data, and the government still boasts about having data. Jong-min looked very surprised, even disbelieving. Yiong affirmed once more, to be sure. I've looked through all the data 3 times, right down to the F-rank hunters. That person can not only block my attacks, but can also deflect the spikes launched from someone poisoned by a monster. How can someone like that be unregistered in Korea? The young man with strange-looking slicked-back hair was Jin. Well, Yui, is the dye even on your hair yet? The little girl who was studying glanced towards the back of his head. Okay, it is. Suddenly, Jin sat down and stared intently at Yui's notebook. But Uncle has something I'm really curious about. Is the answer to question number 1 earthworm? The little girl, sensing she was about to be scolded, tried to change the subject. Now that I look, the dye on the back of your neck isn't even. Go put some more on, Uncle. Jin, surprisingly cheerful today, playfully ruffled her hair. All right, Uncle, we'll go look in the mirror. You redo question number 1. Okay. As soon as he entered the bathroom, the young man grumbled, I just dyed my hair recently, and it's already fading. The cost of hair dye is insane. I wonder if it's because of my recovery ability that dye doesn't even work well anymore. Good thing I have the skilled hands skill, or I'd be screwed. If I weren't working at the hangover soup shop, maybe I should try applying for a job at a hair salon. While he was fussing with his hair, his phone buzzed continuously with message notifications. It was a message from Yui. Uncle, there's a strange-looking person outside the door. Reading this, Jin startled. He activated his silent steps to peek outside. The person outside the door was muttering something continuously. Jin urgently told his niece to hide. After a few more strange mumbles, the person suddenly slammed their head straight into the wall of Jin's house. Jin recognized him at a glance. This person's condition was exactly the same as the one he'd seen before. He couldn't ignore it any longer. He instructed Yui, after Uncle goes out, you have to close the door immediately, okay? The moment he stepped out the door, he punched the strange young man who spat blood. In a dazed, dreamlike state, the man looked up and giggled. Jin, afraid his niece would hear, reminded him, keep your laughter down, the child will hear. He began to strategize. If this person is like the one I encountered before, the only way is to break his neck and deal with it as quietly as possible. The man continued to transform his body, sprouting numerous sharp spikes. With divine speed, Jin dodged them, instantly grabbed his neck and snapped it with a sickening crunch. Finally, the man lay motionless. But Jin was quite surprised. What's this? Don't these things only appear at night? These guys are instantly recognizable, so how come no hunter has ever mentioned them? He continued to search for information about the basilisk or porcupine-like creature, but there were still no search results online, and he couldn't find any related cases. Jin had thought Yiong was warning him not to talk about what happened that day, but it turned out Yiong meant Jin wasn't allowed to reveal the existence of this thing. He started to get a little curious. If information about this thing is being controlled and not even exchanged among hunters, then why did he let me go so easily? Wouldn't it have been more convenient for him to eliminate me to prevent the news from spreading? Jin suddenly flinched when he heard sniffling from inside the house. He turned around to see his niece peeking out, sobbing. To comfort her, Jin used a gentle, soft tone. "Yuya, can you open the door for Uncle?" The little girl shyly pushed the door open. Jin smiled brightly. "It's okay. There are no more strange people now. They've gone far away." Yui's eyes were still teary, on the verge of crying again. It seemed she wasn't over her fear. The little girl ran out and hugged Jin tightly. While hugging his niece, he thought, "Did I finish him off too easily?" After recalling some images, Jin closed his eyes tightly and then continued to reassure his niece. "It's okay now. Were you very scared Uncle will tell the hunter uncles okay? So from now on, things like this won't happen anymore." Yui, believing her uncle, nodded repeatedly. She even sniffled and reminded him, "You have to tell Jongmin and Honeybee too, okay?" Jin broke out in a sweat, thinking this might be a bit difficult, but his mouth still answered as if it were true. All right. First, Uncle will go wash the dye out of his hair, then I'll come back, okay?" Yui also answered very honestly, "Okay. Actually, it smells a bit." Jin went into embarrassed mode. "You have to specify it's the smell of hair dye, okay? Otherwise, other people will misunderstand, Uncle." Before he could even step into the house, Jin froze again, sensing something unusual right behind him. A few days later, Yiong was heading to the research lab. As soon as he arrived, someone was already waiting to escort him. "You're here, Captain Yiong." Cracking his neck, Yiong asked, "Where's Namgu Jin?" "He's in the autopsy room. Let me go inform him." The two proceeded into the autopsy room. The young man in a doctor's coat peeked in and announced, "Professor Mr. Lisa Yiong is here." Namgu Jin turned around. "I heard you've been very busy lately, so I thought I'd have to wait for you for 3 hours. You got here fast." Yiong got straight to the point. "You understand me well. I'm busy as hell, so just tell me." After flicking a cloth, Namgu Jin said to Yiong, "Of course. Look at this poisoned individual." Under the cloth was the man who had appeared at Jin's door and been dealt with by him. Yiong took off his mask and grimaced. "The condition is terrible." Namgu Jin said, "According to Jongmin, it was already in this state when the body was discovered. The brain even suffered an extremely large impact." But after looking again, Yiong had a nagging feeling. It seems he didn't die for this reason. With a snap of his fingers, Namgu Jin replied, "That's right. The actual cause was a broken neck. You know, the bodies of those transformed by poisoning are strengthened to the point that even if we break their bones, we can't control them with normal strength. Yet someone managed to break the neck of a poisoned individual." Yiong began to speculate. Could some hunter have dealt with it? Namgu Jin showed a very helpless expression. "I told you it was already in this state when the body was discovered. Civilians saw it and reported it to us." Yiong was curious about where this thing was found. Namgu Jin looked down at the small chart below and said, "That's what interests me a bit." Looking at the board, Namgu Jin said to Yiong, "Does the location look familiar?" "It's the garbage sorting area near the alley where the poisoned individual was found last time. And there's another special point. Look at this. This is the first time I've seen spikes crushed into this shape. It seems to have suddenly collided with something extremely hard. Have you ever seen anything like it?" Yiong suddenly recalled the image of Jin from their previous encounter and thought, "I searched through all the data and still couldn't find him, so I thought he had disappeared without a trace. Finally, I've caught his tail. There are days in life when the moment you open your eyes, you feel incredibly out of sorts. Jin was in that state." With a tired and utterly disheveled appearance, the young man was completely drained of energy. "What's wrong? I can't be this lethargic." The moment he looked at the clock, he suddenly froze and then shot up. "Nexum, check my luck for today." After receiving his voice command, his phone began to process. "Checking today's luck level. Today you might get injured even by a falling leaf. Therefore, you must be cautious in all matters, and always be vigilant against dangerous elements threatening your safety, which are abundant everywhere. No matter what it is, you must not examine it superficially, but must check it thoroughly and confirm it multiple times. Jin, upon hearing this, put on his shirt, feeling utterly soulless. Is this today's luck forecast, or a warning of an impending murder? Nexum continued to remind him, "Please be extremely cautious and careful throughout today. This afternoon you might have a very interesting encounter. You should try going out in the afternoon." After listening to the lengthy explanation, Jin pulled up his pants, summarizing, "Overall, today's luck is still extremely terrible. Today is not an auspicious day. I must be careful." Not long after arriving at the shop, Yiong showed up and greeted him with an incredibly casual name, even sounding like he was deliberately provoking Jin to make him furious. "Hello, Yiong. I received the letter you sent." Jin was flabbergasted, a giant question mark appearing on his face. Seeing Jin remain silent, Yiong added, "Are you wearing a different apron today? It looks good on you." Jin was genuinely curious. Why is Yiong here? The shop's atmosphere began to fill with whispers at Yiong's appearance. Lisa Yiong eating out at a restaurant. He's someone who absolutely never eats out. Isn't he the one who said he doesn't appear in crowded places? Right? And even if he occasionally attends gatherings, what's he doing coming to a place like this? Is his life too dull or something? Why come to such a shabby-looking store? Hearing this, Jin became even more curious. What on earth has that kid normally done to be gossiped about so much? Vice Captain B, hearing this, gave a faint smile and tried to diffuse the tense atmosphere. "The mood is a bit unsettling. Let's sit at that table over there. Ha ha." Yiong, without a word, walked straight to the central table. Jin still reluctantly greeted him according to his duties as an employee. "Sir, this table hasn't been cleared yet. Would you like to sit at another table?" Facing Jin, Yiong spoke in an unprecedentedly saccharine voice. "No, it's okay. You can clear it slowly. I like this spot so I can see the TV clearly." Jin tried to suppress his anger. Ah, yes. The customer is always right. The phrase, "the customer is always right," kept echoing in his head so Jin wouldn't do something reckless like smacking the customer. Yiong continued to ask, "What's on the menu here?" But Jin replied that they only had hangover soup. B suddenly piped up, "Hey kid, a hangover soup shop only has hangover soup. What else would it have? I told you before we came here." Yiong retorted, "Only hangover soup. What kind of business is this?" Jin was about to lose his patience and said in an extremely cold voice, "Sir, if you continue to complain, please leave the shop." At this, B immediately switched to polite mode. "Ha ha ha, 2 servings of hangover soup for us, please." Jin, his face dark, went inside to prepare. "You're a regular customer, B, so I'm letting this slide." Once in the kitchen, he sighed. "Even if I glare at him with hatred, it won't solve anything. Even if I hate him, he's still a customer who comes to eat and pays for the shop just like anyone else." After giving himself a few philosophical pep talks, Jin regained his composure and a stable mind. 2 bowls of hangover soup were finally cooked and brought out. "The hangover soup you ordered is ready." Online, many anonymous comments about the Pado team were appearing with information that Yiong had prepaid 1,000,000 won to the hangover soup shop so he could eat there every day. Jin even posted about how Yiong was hindering his business and asked for netizens' opinions on how he should handle the situation should he report this harassment directly to the police or the management bureau. Jin, while monitoring his phone, mumbled, "For hunters with some reputation, as long as you have proof, the management bureau's hunters will immediately come to deal with it." After reading, Jin stretched wearily. "Damn it. If I report it, it'll be hard to resolve quietly. And what's this, reveal the first letter of their surname? Half the country of Korea would know who it is then. The top rank is inherently a position like that. Every move of the person at the top can become a reason for the haters and the grateful factions to go to war." Jin thought his head aching. It's truly a dilemma. From that day on, Yiong came every day to pester him. Even so, Jin had to force a bright smile and greet him like a valued guest. In reality, he was extremely annoyed. What the hell is this? He's clearly trying to obstruct business. Every time that kid comes, the surrounding customers don't dare to sit down anymore. To solve this, either I have to go back to being a hunter, or I have to have a lot of money. If I want Lisa Yiong to be socially condemned, I need concrete evidence. If the evidence isn't enough, I could easily face a backlash. The most accurate way is to record all of Yiong's behavior and post it publicly. But the opponent is an S-rank hunter, so if I use a normal recorder or camera, Yiong will detect it. That means I have to use a device made from items obtained from a dungeon so it won't be easily destroyed, or I need a hidden recorder that's not easily detected. Jin started checking prices online but ultimately only looked because it was ridiculously expensive. Back when I was the Jin of old, known by hundreds of thousands, I wouldn't even remember the price of these things. These days, inflating the price to hundreds of millions is too much. The poor young man could only scratch his head. He had been too busy with life and had never bought such luxuries. Today, he started to consider registering as a hunter, but then decided against it, thinking it was too risky. Now is different from before. They have a whole awakened management bureau. What if by some chance my data wasn't deleted and is still there? I'd be eating shit instead of rice. Even if I wasn't worried about that, I can't control my strength. I'm afraid I'd break the measuring machine, which would be even worse. To put it bluntly, in that moment, my peaceful hidden life would go to hell. Just thinking about it made Jin's head spin. He became even more furious. Yiong, if it weren't for that kid, I wouldn't have this headache. Jin opened his spatial inventory and took out a sparkling stone. Back then, these magic stones were useless, so I threw them all in a corner. Lately, it seems they're using them for many things here and there. Maybe I should sell one. Selling this one should give me enough money to buy a high-quality recorder. And so he listed it on the hunter's market. It would be better to sell it there, but selling on that platform required a hunter registration card. When he tried to open his old account on the tomato market platform he used to use the system, reported it was unavailable. It seemed his old account was lost. The young man decided to create a new account from scratch. After thinking about a nickname, he decided to name himself EZ. Ding, 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 EZ, welcome to Tomato Market. Please turn on your location to register your area. Jin excitedly started taking photos of the stone, trying to get the sharpest possible image. If I list it for 80 million, will it sell? Finally, the young man set the price accompanied by the description, "This is a rare, high-purity magic stone. Please contact via Neo Chat to purchase." Jin started thinking about what he would do when he had the money. After selling it, I'll buy coats for Grandma and Yui. I'll also pay for Grandma's leg surgery. Suddenly, his phone buzzed incessantly. The frequency of the buzzing made him think his phone was broken. Jin startled and opened it to see hundreds of comments. They were tearing it apart. Some even threatened to report him to the management bureau if G, likely a typo for EZ, or Jin was a scammer. He read his face blank. Damn it, the price of magic stones is higher than I thought, huh? I just listed it according to my own standards. How much has the world changed? His phone continued to buzz to the point of making him dizzy. He decided to exit and delete the damn account. Right at that moment, a comment expressed curiosity. I'm curious why EZ deleted their account. Jin replied decisively, other people were exploiting my post too much, so I encountered some malicious players. Another reason is that they insulted me the first time we talked. What scumbags. Jin collapsed, wanting to escape this horrible world. It didn't stop there. Information about someone listing a magic stone for 80 million, one on Tomato Market, spread online, including the fact that he deleted his account after only 2 minutes. People started buzzing with comments. An A-rank magic stone. What kind of monster do you have to catch to get that? You have to catch a monster that's a boss of a grade 2 dungeon or higher. But according to the picture, that stone has very high purity, which means it must be from a monster in a grade 1 dungeon. People were even more surprised by this information and continued to discuss it. In that case, the person who posted it must be a very high-ranking hunter. Just by looking at the picture, you can tell it's an A-rank magic stone. This stone even caught the attention of Hong Yi-sung. Hong Yi-sung even posted about it on Instagram. He asked why something so precious was posted on Tomato Market instead of Hunter Market. The Instagram post specifically said, "EZ. I don't know who you are, but just name a price. I'll come buy it directly right away." Elsewhere in a desolate mountainous area, for some reason there was Wi-Fi. Hong Yi-sung was holding his phone trembling and going crazy, shouting, "Give me the stone!" Hong Yi-sung was ranked 7th in Korea, a unique S-rank crafter with the nickname The Mutant. After reading the information, Hong Yi-sung thrashed around like a madman. "Ah, Mr. Hong Yi-sung, you're not allowed to see anything, okay? Oh my God, find that stone for me." Jong Min, sitting beside him, laughed cryptically. "Since when did this village get Wi-Fi like this? Before bringing him here this time, didn't you guys cut off the internet?" A female manager leaned in and whispered, "Of course we cut off the internet." But Mr. Lisa Yiong reconnected all the information lines to the Wi-Fi for him. After that, he promised to take on the task of crafting gloves as the price for using the internet. Jong Min looked at the sight of Hong Yi-sung thrashing about and felt utterly weary. That guy is really no help at all. As soon as this crafting session is over, cut off the internet for me immediately, okay? Hong Yi-sung ignored everything and thrashed even harder. "I have to go to Seoul. Give me that stone." Jong Min was too annoyed and held up the screen. "Seriously, you were the one who insisted on coming all the way to Mount Jiri to work. Don't you know the deadline is approaching? You won't be allowed to leave here until you've finished all the weapons." Only then did Hong Yi-sung stop thrashing. He had a characteristic deadline finisher. That is, the closer the deadline, the higher his productivity and the faster his completion speed. If he crafted items when this skill was activated, it would increase the item's quality by 50%. Hong Yi-sung had another characteristic: loves to procrastinate. No matter what he was doing, he wanted to delay it a lot. Hong Yi-sung flew into a rage, calling Jong Min the staff member in charge. "Look at this stone. If you craft a weapon with this magic stone, the weapon will be at least S-rank." I could tell just by looking at the picture. Jong Min froze upon hearing this. All the equipment created so far has only reached a maximum rank of S. And he's saying that if he uses that magic stone, he can create an S-rank weapon. Jong Min began to think and investigate. The seller of the stone has a mysterious background. I only heard about him after coming to Mount Jiri. The stone is of a type that has never been traded anywhere in the country, so it must be an item stolen from somewhere to be sold. But someone with extremely good abilities like Hong Yi-sung could confirm its quality just by looking at it. Where did this stone suddenly appear from? Could it be related to what Yiong mentioned before? Looking down at Hong Yi-sung, who was still rolling around, Jong Min asked, "First, listen to me. This stone is extremely good, right?" Of course. One look, and you know it's top grade, completely different from those things mixed with impurities or contaminated with monster venom. "I'm begging you, give me that stone." Jong Min continued to be curious. "So you can figure out who might be able to find that stone, right?" In a grumbling tone, Hong Yi-sung replied, "At the very least, that person must be in the top 100. Jong Min continued, "Those at the top of the rankings usually don't leave traces like a rookie. They don't participate in buying and selling, right?" In a frustrated state, Hong Yi-sung whispered, "They're not idiots. There's a black market, there's Hunter Market. Why post on Tomato Market? What are they trying to do?" And so Hong Yi-sung rolled over again and shouted, "I'm on Mount Jiri. How can I check Tomato Market all the way in Seoul? Next time lock me up on Mount Bukhan." Jong Min just stared back. "Yes, all right. I'll report to the bureau chief that the next place of exile you've chosen is Mount Bukan. And as for that magic stone, I'll try to find it. Only then did Hong Yi-sung stop and quiet down a bit. Jong-min smiled brightly as if confirming, "Well, with perseverance, even an iron bar can be ground into a needle." Elsewhere, Jin was still working very diligently, but kept feeling an itch. Looking outside, Yiong suddenly didn't come for lunch today, which made him feel very happy and peaceful. However, outside there was a very noisy and crowded discussion. "Did you guys see the post on HunterNet yesterday? I heard some crazy guy is selling an A-rank magic stone on Tomato Market for 80 million. The teams are all in chaos. Jin felt quite helpless that they were calling him a crazy guy. The discussions continued outside. Is it a scam post? Maybe he just downloaded a picture from the internet and posted it. Hey, Hong Yi-sung said he'd craft a weapon for free for whoever finds that stone. He's even offering a cash prize." Jin was startled, completely frozen. He was quite surprised, not understanding why they were making such a big deal out of it, even offering a cash prize for something he had always considered worthless and had thrown into a corner. The chatter grew louder and louder. Buying it for 80 million and then reselling it would net a profit of several hundred million. No joke, if only that easy person posted again. But it seems they deleted the post and their account too. Are you kidding me? Teasing us and then withdrawing? Register the account again immediately. I was planning to go to the fish market today to ask the mackerel to find it. Will the mackerel be able to find it? If not, I'll lose my title as the person with the most information in Korea. Jin, seeing how much they cherished the stone, broke out in a sweat. Back in the day, he used to play marbles with magic stones, thinking they were useless. It turns out 10 years can indeed change mountains and rivers. In the past, magic stones were items only those who truly needed them would buy. Firstly, they were collectibles for the rich. Secondly, they were spoils of war for hunters. However, during the time Jin was trapped in the dungeon, science and technology developed rapidly. According to research, magic stones, unlike energy sources like coal or oil, are not destroyed by the environment, so humans can efficiently extract energy from them. Furthermore, people could even extract gold from discarded magic stones. Jin had only accidentally listed one thing for sale, but the rumor had spread so much, it stunned him. Looking at Hong Yi-sung's Instagram post, it had truly gone viral with over 500,000 likes. Jin was helpless. This crazy guy, what on earth am I supposed to do with him? If I just stay put and do nothing, he might even post on Insta again and add more fuel to the fire. But I haven't sold the stone yet, so it's a bit difficult. Thinking about his grandmother's leg, for which he still didn't have enough funds for treatment, made him even more anxious. Just as he was glued to his phone, Jong-min casually walked in. "Hello?" The moment Jin looked up, he froze. Jong-min, however, was looking around, assessing the situation. Jin was panicking, wondering how Jong-min had found his way here. Some people enjoying their hangover soup also felt annoyed. This is crazy. First Yiong, now Jong-min. Who are they trying to catch? Whoever it is, surrender now. Seeing the commotion, Jong-min waved his hand dismissively. "I'm not here for work today. I came for dinner. I just got back from a business trip." With a wildly beating heart, Jin activated his poker face skill, hoping Jong-min wouldn't recognize him. After all, Jong-min only knew the Jin of the past when he wore a mask. Maintaining the calmest demeanor possible, Jin politely invited Jong-min to a seat. "Welcome, sir. Are you alone?" "Yes, I'm alone. You can look at the menu on the wall and order." Just then, Jin got another jolt as Yiong sauntered in. Seeing Jong-min, Yiong also looked surprised. "Strange, isn't it? Why is a government official here? This is my territory." Jin felt annoyed again. "I thought he wasn't coming today, but he shows up without missing a single day." Jong-min smiled a smile that couldn't be more friendly and boasted, "Of course I came for dinner. I didn't expect to meet you here, Yiong." Yiong also hesitated. I also guessed you wouldn't expect that." And so the two of them sat at the same table, chatting animatedly. Jong-min spoke first. I have something I want to talk to you about, but it's a private matter and shouldn't be discussed in a public place like this. Can we exchange contact methods? Also, the bureau chief told me I absolutely have to pay the compensation for the previous damages. Jong-min immediately pulled something out of his hidden space. Jin glanced over. Is that an item that creates a spatial barrier? Only after that did they have a secret conversation preventing eavesdropping. Jong-min brought it up. Captain Yiong, that unregistered person you mentioned before, have you found him? No, I should ask you have found him right. A spatial barrier item was often used when discussing confidential matters. However, its fatal flaw was that if the listener was of a higher rank than the item's rank, they could still penetrate the protective layer and hear what was inside. For that reason, Jin was currently eavesdropping on their conversation. Jong-min asked Yiong, do you know about someone recently selling an A-rank magic stone on Tomato Market? Yiong sat very calmly and replied, if I didn't know about that, I'd retire from being a hunter. Jong-min laughed a very forced laugh. Then do you know that Hong Yi-sung is throwing a tantrum demanding to get that magic stone because someone everyone knows who reconnected the internet for him, that's why he's acting up like that? Yiong shrugged, feigning innocence. I know a little. Jong-min put on a tense expression. Let me tell you my conclusion. I guess the registered person you're looking for is the owner of that stone. If they have the ability to obtain a magic stone of that level, they must at least be in the top 100 of the rankings. Of course, those at the top of the rankings would use Hunter Market because both the seller's and buyer's identities must be verified for large transactions to be safe. If you say it's because of the high commission and taxes on Hunter Market, well, it is a bit high for civil servants. But there's another way. Sell it on the black market. Why go through the trouble of posting it for sale on a common app that even ordinary people can see? If you want to sell it quietly, there are dozens of other ways. In short, why is that person selling the magic stone on Tomato Market? And at such a cheap price, too. It could be that the seller doesn't have a hunter certification card, so they have to use the Tomato Market platform. There are only two possibilities: that person is an ordinary person or an unregistered amateur hunter. However, I think the probability of an ordinary person possessing a magic stone of that level is almost zero at present. My conclusion is that the person holding such a high-grade magic stone can only be an extremely skilled but unregistered hunter, the very person you, Lisa Yiong, are looking for. Jin, listening from outside, broke out in a cold sweat. They're really too sharp. Good thing I heard this conversation or I'd be screwed. I have to be more careful in all my actions from now on. Suddenly, Yiong glanced behind him. Jin's heart pounded, startled, feeling as if Yiong knew he was eavesdropping. During Jong-min and Yiong's conversation, Yiong remained silent for a long time, making Jong-min feel like his words had no effect. After a while, Yiong finally replied, "It's nothing." "What if it's another unregistered hunter?" Jong-min continued. "There's an upcoming weapon auction by Mr. Hong Yi-sung, so those with real strength will all return to Korea. But those people can't cause such a stir because whether they come or go, they do it silently." Yiong continued to assert, "A few months ago, a new S-rank hunter awakened, didn't they? What if it's that person?" Although defensive, Jong-min obviously didn't believe him. "That person, you know her. The kid isn't even an adult yet and is in an important phase of her studies, so she wouldn't have time for such things. Besides, she's not a combat-type hunter." Yiong hesitated. "Ah, I heard that girl is in her final year of high school, right?" Jong-min snapped his fingers. "Yes, so if she has free time, she'll work part-time to study for her exams." Not knowing what else to say, Yiong continued to prevaricate. Let's assume so, but I haven't found that person yet." Jong-min paused. "If even you, with your understanding, haven't found them by now," Yiong replied. Well, what if that person is planning to set a trap to lure out suspicious individuals?" Jong-min hesitated, seeing the logic. It's true we can't rule out that possibility. If you find this person, you must contact me. Finally, it was time for the shop to close. Jin, exhausted, slumped down. My head hurts so much. Why do I feel like this is going to continue? Moreover, before leaving and paying Jongmin even called out, "It was delicious, I'll come here often." Just thinking about it made his head ache. Jin just wanted to curse. Please don't come back here anymore. Why do you guys have to come to a hangover soup shop? Isn't this place already a Lisa Yiong zone? Now there's a Jongmin zone too. While he was dazed, someone knocked on the door. It was none other than Yiong. Jin, upon seeing him, immediately showed his disdain. "We're closed. Please leave," Yiong persisted. "Open the door. I came because I have something to say." Jin grumbled again. "I told you business hours are over." Yiong was firm. "You'd better listen to me if you don't want to see Jongmin again tomorrow." Jin, furious, slammed his hand on the wall. "It was you, wasn't it? You were the one who called Jongmin here." Yiong retorted. "It was clearly Hyung who called him here." Jin went into full blunt mode. "Are you saying he came looking for me? I'm smart, not stupid. What do you mean by that?" Yiong feigned innocence, spreading his hands as if he didn't understand. If Hyung hadn't dropped a bombshell that shook Tomato Market, there's no way he would have come all this way. Then it was Jin's turn to feign ignorance. "What are you talking about? What does Tomato Market have to do with me?" "Well, whoever comes looking, you just keep pretending like that. You have to hide it well, okay? If you don't open the door, I'll melt it down." Jin, furious, clenched his fists. "Try me. I'll report you to the management bureau." Yiong remained stubborn. "You keep hurting my feelings, Hyung." Having no other choice, Jin opened the door with an annoyed, grimacing face. Once inside, Yiong took off his mask again. "Those guys will continue to come looking for you." Jin crossed his arms, smirking. "Don't say such creepy things." Yiong glanced at him and replied, "Oh, really? Then why didn't you post it on places like Used Goods World when you were selling? You really have a talent for making a mountain out of a molehill. And then you even posted it on Tomato Market in the special district. That's what caused this whole mess." Jin still tried to act and deny it. "I told you it wasn't me." Yiong pointed his finger. "All right, then I won't assert it's you anymore. Let's just say I'm talking about that crazy idiot who was selling the magic stone on Tomato Market." Jin didn't dare to look him in the eye, but still pretended to warn him. "Watch your words. That person probably didn't know any better, that's why they did it. They're probably regretting it immensely right now." Yiong continued to glance at him and hummed non-committally. "Oh, really doesn't look like they're regretting anything. You who have eaten 5,000 more bowls of rice than me, why are you using honorifics when talking?" Jin, annoyed, slammed the door. "Shut up. Anyway, I have something I need your advice on. I have a friend. This friend made a very big mistake, but they don't know they made a big mistake, nor can they imagine how serious it would be. The mistake seems more serious than they thought. That person is being swarmed by a bunch of other people, like flies." Yiong also looked very attentive and listened. "Yes. Oh dear. Then that's not good." Jin continued to explain. "This friend of mine wants to resolve their inner turmoil in the quietest way possible so that no one knows, simply because that friend wants to live a peaceful life." Yiong smiled faintly. "Aha. Because they want to live a peaceful life, huh? I like that very much. Let's make a deal. The mistake you accidentally made, I'll handle it neatly." Jin asked directly, "What do you want?" Instantly, Yiong got very close to Jin's face. "I want you Hyung." Jin's face turned pale. Yiong continued. "Someone with great abilities but doesn't belong to any organization. Also, I'm looking for someone who is discreet with few acquaintances. In other words, if no one knows, all the better. I thought I'd have to give up because I couldn't find a suitable person. Just then you appeared like fate. I've tried to find information about you, but whether it's the high school you attended or even the area around your house, I couldn't find any information at all. It's all as if it was sucked into a gate. I heard your parents both passed away on the day the gate opened. You have no living relatives, so I couldn't find anything. I checked if you'd ever signed an employment contract anywhere, but there were no contracts either. No bank transactions, and your phone number was only registered a few months ago. I couldn't find any of your previous information. This old lady shop owner and her granddaughter, they're not actually your relatives, are they? They're all strangers. It was so accurate that Jin didn't know how to respond, only gritting his teeth and clenching his fists. Yiong continued, Indeed, I couldn't find a shred of information about you. Originally, I was even planning to meet all your demands to recruit you to my team, but it's clear now that only this shop is important to you, right? Hyung, is there anything you want? Faced with this question, Jin bluntly replied that he had nothing. Yiong moved closer again. In that case, let me make a suggestion. Then Yiong pulled an iPad out of his spatial inventory and started tapping. Do you know Namgu Jin? He's an A-rank healer. At this, Jin startled. Korea's only A-rank healer, currently ranked 6th in Korea, captain of the Sargon team, and nicknamed the Wise Librarian. It seems he's grasped all of Jin's desires. Let Namgu Jin treat your grandmother's leg. What do you think I can't help with that? Jin looked quite surprised. Yiong continued, I heard her leg is in pain. Jin still maintained a surprised attitude. An A-rank healer whom ordinary people can't even meet, treating a civilian, say something more plausible. Yiong appeared very confident in his previous words. Sargon and Pado have a cooperative relationship, so I can ask him to treat her. Before awakening, he was an orthopedic trauma surgeon, so he'll understand her condition well. What do you think? Jin seemed more agreeable and replied to Yiong, What's your reason for doing this for me? You investigate every piece of information about a person just to find their weakness and exploit it. You even dangled bait for me. In short, what's your reason for wanting to drag me in at all costs? If I refuse today, you'll probably go around spreading rumors that I'm an awakened hunter, right? Tell me clearly. What do you want? Yiong narrowed his eyes, admitting, I've considered that method too. But simply threatening isn't a good way, because if I do that, you'll conclude that I'm telling you we can't walk the same path. Do you remember that guy you saw on the first day we met? A strange drug has started circulating in the last few years. Normally, regular medicines and drugs can't affect an awakened person, but strangely, that type causes an extremely violent reaction, increasing aggression, poisoning the user, and transforming their body. Jin looked quite surprised to hear this information. Just by using drugs, they can become like that? Yiong shrugged and replied, That's the troublesome part. In short, I'm tracking down the ringleaders supplying this drug, but both I and my team members are too well known to everyone. So whenever we manage to get deeper, the trail goes cold. That's why we can't just send any member. They'd either be eliminated by them or get addicted to the drug themselves. Jin began to think. If we're talking about the ability to win a fight against those poisoned individuals, then yes, I meet the conditions Yiong mentioned. But he didn't explain how I'm supposed to find those people. From what I've observed so far, he's definitely not a champion of justice. Why does he need to find those people? Seeing Jin standing there stunned, Yiong smirked. For more details, you'll have to make a deal with me before I can tell you. Honestly, matters related to drugs need to be kept confidential, so I have to keep it a secret. Otherwise, Jong-min would come looking for me too. Jin continued to stand there thinking, This kid is trying to lure me by revealing secrets to tie me down, isn't he? Yiong? Then patted Jin's shoulder and advised, Well, you think about it carefully, okay? Jin startled and went into chase away mode. You go away quickly. I still have to close up and take out the trash. Yiong still stood there holding out his hand for reasons unknown. It turned out he wanted Jin to give him his phone to save his number. Jin, annoyed, grimaced. No need. Yiong continued to whine. My phone number is very valuable, you know. Jin pretended to threaten. I'll sell your phone number on Tomato Market, you hear? Yiong just smiled. If that's the case, you'll have to see me more often. Hehe. From that day on, Jin no longer saw Yiong, but the unlucky words Yiong had spewed became a prophecy. Right after that day, many people called, and the shop's phone rang off the hook. Yes, Hangover Soup Restaurant, how can I help you? Hello, I'm reporter Kim So-young from MBB Television. Can you take a call? Jin tried to remain calm and replied, I'm sorry, we don't do food delivery. The other end of the line blurted out a torrent, I'm not calling for delivery, I'm calling to ask if you'd be interested in appearing on television. Our program is called Live One Tobs, and it airs at 7:00 p.m. on weekdays. Jin refused, but they persisted. If your shop is promoted as a favorite spot for hunters, it will be very beneficial for your business. Jin seemed unable to maintain his composure any longer. I have no need for that. The shop is currently busy, so I'll hang up now. Phone calls like that rang every day. Some people even came to film randomly, but Jin discovered them. Sir, please turn off the camera in your bag. Filming without permission is illegal. After being caught red-handed, this customer vehemently denied it. Huh? What camera? What are you talking about? Where do you see it? The hunters in the shop also flared up. Hey, you scumbag. We can hear the camera running. How dare he underestimate a hunter's hearing? The hunters even stood up and exposed the scoundrel as a YouTuber who specialized in making videos slandering famous people. After realizing he was exposed, he ran for his life. The hunters who remained were still furious. If we don't catch him, at least 2 people here will end up in the tabloids you watch. What are you still sitting there for? Go catch that scumbag. Things like that kept happening repeatedly. Just when people were about to forget, the old story would resurface following Hong Yi-sung's Instagram post. He even received a surprise package. This place already hot became even hotter. It was a letter from Jongmin with the words, truly delicious. Suddenly, receiving Jongmin's autograph like this made Jin lose all sense of vigilance. Material determines consciousness. One must pay attention to every little detail in everything. Looking at this beautiful signature, Jin saw money. If it's Jongmin's signature, it's worth a lot. Maybe I should just sell this signature on Tomato Market. Never mind. I don't want to be bombarded with messages again. And so after an internal struggle, Jin stuck the paper on the wall. Before things settled down, another character appeared. It was the A-rank hunter ranked 5th in Korea, nicknamed Hanbi. As soon as she stopped in front of the shop, someone shouted, Hornet, which made her extremely angry, almost slapping the guy silly. While still dazed, wondering what the 5th-ranked hunter was doing here, she yelled, Lisa Yiong, come out. Jin understood the reason. All right, that kid Yiong really causes a lot of trouble. Seeing Jin staring at her intently, Hanbi turned to him in surprise and asked if there was a problem. Jin remained frozen. Does she really not know there's a problem, so she's asking? But luckily, she knew how to speak gently to ordinary people. For that reason, Jin immediately slipped into the role of a gentle, composed young man and asked, Are you Hanbi? Wow, I'm really a fan of yours. He was acting so deeply, but in reality, his niece was the fan. Instantly, Hanbi looked cool and radiant, untying her hair tie. Jin was bewildered, not understanding how she could perform for him like that. Well, for now, he'd just play along like a die-hard fan. Wasting time on such childish antics made Jin feel even more annoyed than he already was. That Lisa Yiong, I swear if he comes, I'll grab him by the collar and thrash him. Hanbi was thrilled. So you're a fan of mine? I'm sorry for suddenly visiting your shop like this. You must have been startled, right? Jin pretended to wave his hand. It's okay. Hanbi pretended to scratch her head. Oh dear, I'm really sorry. I lost my temper a bit earlier. Before she could finish her sentence, there was a grumbling sound from outside. Who parked their motorcycle like this? Hanbi, who hadn't been gentle for more than a few seconds, flared up again, shouting, "You idiot! Get your hands off it immediately!" The vice captain, who was leading the bike, flinched. "Is this your precious iron horse? Is this any way to park?" Recognizing a familiar face, she quickly went to the door. "San, are you here alone? Where's Lisa Yiong?" The vice captain looked embarrassed. "I told you not to call me by my hunter alias. Please use my real name." Hanbi stubbornly continued to look around. "Where's Lisa Yiong? Didn't he come with you?" The vice captain looked serious. "I'm also curious about what you want to say. First, let's order food, then we can discuss important matters, okay?" Hanbi reluctantly went inside with a not-so-normal attitude. "All right. Anyway, I need to cool down first. What do you have here?" The vice captain ordered out of habit. "One hangover soup for me with lots of green chili peppers." Hanbi followed suit and ordered the exact same thing. Before Jin even went inside, the vice captain got straight to the point. "Now tell me, why do you need to see Yiong? What has he done now?" "The magic stone that was put up for sale on Tomato Market, you know about it, right?" Jin switched back to eavesdropping mode, perking up his ears. Hanbi continued, "I really need that magic stone." The vice captain smirked. "To that extent, huh?" Hearing the slightly sarcastic tone, Hanbi flared up again. "Whoever brings that stone to Hong Yi Sung, he'll make a weapon for them. I really need an S-rank weapon." The vice captain sighed at this point. "Ah, right. The normal weapon you usually use is broken, isn't it?" Jin, hearing the familiar name, couldn't help but startle, remembering smacking Hong Yi Sung silly a few times in the past. Hanbi continued her confident boasting. "I heard the ranking system is about to be updated. After finding the magic stone for Hong Yi Sung, I'll have him craft a specialized S-rank weapon just for me. When the rankings are reorganized, then I'll definitely win triumphantly. I've planned it perfectly." Therefore, I enlarged the photo of the magic stone to see if there were any reflections in it. Besides that, I also sent the photo for analysis to find out what type of phone was used to take the picture. The paper used as the background for the magic stone photo was also carefully examined to see what kind of paper it was. I'm putting all my effort into dissecting the data of that photo down to the nano unit to make a judgment. Jin, hearing this, was speechless. Even the vice captain couldn't help but be amazed. "To that extent, huh?" Hanbi continued to explain. Clearly, a few days ago, the information investigation was still gradually progressing, but since a few days ago, the lead suddenly broke off. Why? It's obvious that Lisa Yiong, that crazy guy, blocked it right when I was about to find out all the information. What else could it be? Out of anger, Hanbi slammed her fist on the table, then startled. "Did I damage the tabletop?" Luckily, the vice captain had stopped her punch, or she would have had to pay a hefty sum. Hanbi sighed in relief and then continued. "Thank you. In short, that's why I had to come all this way." The vice captain looked bewildered and asked back, "But what does EZ and our team have to do with each other?" Hanbi, blunt as ever, said, "If you don't know, who else would?" Jin, standing in the kitchen, could only listen silently and think. "It is related, but it's related to your captain, not your team." After they finished eating, Hanbi cheerfully held a ridiculously large piece of paper and walked towards Jin, calling out, "Hey, staff member, I have a gift for you." Upon opening the paper, Hanbi's giant face was there along with her signature. Jin froze for 5 seconds while Hanbi grinned broadly. "I saw it earlier. You stick everyone's signatures on the wall, right? I'm giving you this specially. You should stick my signature up too." The vice captain, seeing this, also thought Jin was really her fan. "Oh, the staff member is a die-hard fan of Hanbi, huh? Wow, you should come here often. He said he's your fan." In this moment of desperation, Jin just wanted the man to shut up. Hanbi, like a toad, declared clearly, "Well, although I'm very busy, I can still spare some time to come one more time." Jin's heart stopped. Words from the bottom of his heart pleaded for them not to return, but remembering his niece, who was crazy about Hanbi, Jin also reminded himself to curse them less. Upon returning, the Pato vice captain burst through the door, chiding, "Yiong, you skipped a meal again, didn't you? People should have a love for eating. You've been eating properly lately, so why did you suddenly not eat today? There's an official document from the Awakened Management Bureau. On the day of the ranking announcement, they will urgently summon those on the list. Please cooperate." Yiong twitched his two legs as if nodding. B was too used to this and understood. "Okay. The dungeon at Jongno Thriga Station will be handled by our team. The Vanguard team will go first to clear it, then the research team will go in later to investigate the resources in the dungeon. Also, the Sargon team said we should pick a day for them to come meet us." Yiong still lay motionless, and only replied by wiggling his leg. B suddenly cleared his throat. "That's about all for the urgent matters. Also, I think I should go film a commercial or something." At this, Yiong startled slightly. B continued, "The young staff member at the Hangover Soup Shop turns out to be a fan of Hanbi. I thought he had no interest in hunters at all. Indeed, you can't underestimate people with high public recognition." This data was important and engaging enough for Yiong to immediately sit up. "What did you say?" B looked bewildered. "I said we can't underestimate the recognition from those public commercials." "Not before that." B, still not understanding, replied, "I'll go film a commercial." Yiong, annoyed, yelled, "Damn it! Are you really stupid or just pretending not to understand?" B, after being scolded, looked hurt, almost crying. "Hey, no one did anything. No one touched anything." Yiong patiently asked again, "What did you say about the part-timer at the shop?" "The part-timer at the shop? He's a fan of Hanbi. Hanbi personally signed a poster for him. I should follow her example and do some fan service too." Yiong no longer wanted to lie motionless and immediately ordered, "Call the casting team leader up here." B's eyes lit up instantly. "Huh, you're going to let me film a commercial?" Yiong ripped off his mask and urged B to hurry. Jin, while working, saw a message from Yiong telling him to turn on CBS. Jin glanced at the TV thinking, "It's been a while since he came here. Why is he suddenly telling me to turn on CBS?" As soon as he turned it on, he saw Hanbi's image in a commercial. Jin scratched his head, not understanding anything. "Surely he's not telling me to watch Hanbi's commercial, right? What's the program after this?" Immediately after, there was another commercial opening with the appearance of a little girl and a puppy. Yiong, wearing a mask, also walked out. Jin, watching this, was petrified while the TV continued. "For hunter registration consultation, please call Hotline 777. To report unregistered hunters or report criminal acts by hunters, please call 5555. The Awakened Management Bureau is always with you." The TV continuously broadcast the sound of machine guns, followed by reminders that sounded like warnings. "After awakening your abilities for whatever special reason, if you do not register with the Management Bureau within 1 month, you will be fined up to 100 million won. We urge all awakened individuals to go to the registration centers in their respective areas to fulfill their registration duty. This advertisement serves a public purpose." His small figure standing in the middle of the crowded shop, Jin froze, clenching his fists. "Isn't this like telling people to commit suicide if they don't register?" The phone rang again. It was another message from Yiong. "Hyung, did you watch it? I heard you like people who do commercials." Reading this, Jin froze again. What the hell is this crazy guy talking about? Elsewhere, Jong Min sat silently in the room, listening to the clock tick by. "Captain, would you like some snacks? You must be tired from being on night duty, right?" Jong Min smiled brightly and asked the staff member, "Ah, yes, please, get me an energy snack bar." Finally, the time to announce the rankings that hunters had been eagerly awaiting day and night was approaching. In 12 more minutes, they would be able to see the new rankings. The TV was currently showing the ranking segment, which only happened once a year. The system would compile information on the strength and activity level of hunters to produce a new ranking order. How will the system rank them this time? I'm really curious. The male MC on the TV screen looked very excited. Although the system's ranking calculation method is not fully disclosed, we all know it calculates not only based on rank but also on the diligence of that hunter's activities. Thanks to that, an A-rank hunter can also have a higher ranking than an S-rank hunter. Over the past year, many new hunters have risen like stars and been actively involved. This time's ranking might see a very big change. Nevertheless, experts have also predicted that the top hunters, specifically the top 20 positions, will be difficult to change. Let's look at the predicted rankings. The experts' prediction board remained the same as before. Top 1 was still Lisa Yiong, and third was still Jongmin. The MC continued, "Oh, the predicted ranking is no different from the current ranking. Yes, that's right. It is expected that the ranking from the past 2 years will continue to be maintained." Hearing this, Jongmin also felt weary. The prediction board is full of old names. Just then, snacks and tea were brought in. The staff member standing beside him asked, "Captain, do you also think the ranking will be maintained as they predicted?" Jongmin, while unwrapping the bar, replied with a nonchalant, dazed attitude, But if Hanbi gets an S-rank weapon, there might be a change. For now, this year's ranking will remain the same." The young man standing beside him nodded in agreement. That's right. None of the top hunters are sitting idle. Everyone is actively involved. Just as the clock struck the hour, a notification bar appeared in front of all the hunters. Ranking change. Do you want to view and confirm now? The moment it opened, everyone froze, stunned. The updated top-ranked individual was Jin, S-rank. All the top hunters from last year were pushed down 1 rank. Jongmin was so shocked he immediately jumped up. Jin, who was reported to have perished in the gate 8 years ago, has reappeared. The staff member standing next to Jongmin broke out in a sweat. "Hey! Captain, what's going on? Is what I'm seeing real?" Jongmin, unable to remain calm any longer, urgently asked, "How many members can be mobilized to move immediately right now?" The staff member stammered. "Excluding those currently on duty, there are a total of 10 people. Leaving the minimum number here, all remaining personnel move to Incheon. Also, all those currently on duty will also move." Hearing the order, the young man bolted. Yes, sir, understood." Just then, Jongmin's phone rang. It was a call from the bureau chief. "Calling you this late at night, you must be working hard. Have you seen the rankings?" "I've seen them, sir. We are planning to depart for Incheon immediately." The bureau chief suddenly lowered his voice. I trust you know what to do." Jongmin replied, "Yes. After confirming if the West Sea Gate has reopened, I will investigate whether there's a possibility that Jin and other hunters are still alive. At the same time, I will also search the surrounding area." The bureau chief instructed, "You must find him no matter what methods you use." Jongmin suddenly froze. The worst-case scenario could be that the Incheon Gate has appeared again. Jongmin immediately moved a helicopter to Incheon to the memorial. Upon arrival, he saw Yiong standing there. Jongmin rushed over. "Captain Yiong, I came to see if the gate has opened." Yiong replied coolly, "It hasn't opened." Jongmin stood there, frozen stiff again, thinking, "I came here as soon as the rankings were announced, and he got here even faster than me." The Incheon Gate had disappeared after Jin entered it. That gate was originally managed jointly by the Gate Management Department and the Awakened Management Bureau. However, the scale of the gate was too large to entrust full handling to a single team, and the losses caused by the gate were too great. Not a single team returned after entering it. But then one day, Lisa Yiong suddenly appeared. Instead of announcing the research results of the research center affiliated with the Pado team, he requested the government to grant him ownership of the gate. The government, without a hint of feigned concern, simply handed over a time bomb to the Pado team. From that day on, there were incessant rumors, big and small. Why did Lisa Yiong want ownership of the Incheon gate, and why is he here now? Could it be that Yiong has a mission related to owning the gate this time, or is he just furious because Jin stole his top rank? Outwardly, he looked normal, but his aura was still seething and roaring. After a few moments of standing and thinking, Yiong turned his head and said to Jongmin, "If you've finished confirming, you can go back. And remember to manage your hunters well." As soon as he finished speaking, another notification bar appeared in front of the hunters. "Jin has appeared." Jongmin, without hesitation, immediately called his team. "All team members assemble immediately. It seems Jin is nearby." Before he could do anything else, Yiong approached and warned Jongmin. "Convey to Ham Seok-jung that ownership of the Incheon gate belongs to the Pado team. Everything that comes from within the gate is mine." Elsewhere, Jin was standing in front of some garbage sorting bins, his face contorted with an indescribable expression. The ranking notification bar loomed before him. "Congratulations, Jin! You have become the #1 ranked individual in Korea." Jin flustered, cursed loudly. "Are you crazy, or what? Is the system insane? I'm just sorting garbage and you push me to #1. What did I do for you to rank me #1, huh?" His phone kept dinging with new notifications. Jin opened it and read, seeing only news related to himself. News update: Jin tops Korea's ranking chart. Lisa Yiong, who has consistently held the #1 position, has now been pushed from the #1 spot by Jin. Awakened Management Bureau: hunter nicknames cannot be duplicates. Not a case of duplicate names. Awakened Management Bureau believes there is a possibility of a system error and is currently verifying. Jongmin spotted moving by helicopter to Incheon. Jin read, his face twisted. Good heavens, how can someone who has passed away come back to life? But since escaping the gate, the things I've done include cleaning, sorting garbage, washing dishes, simmering hangover soup, collecting discount coupons, grocery shopping for my niece, donating to the victims of the Incheon gate, and occasionally dealing with monsters appearing on the road, then pretending to be a civilian to report to the Management Bureau. What else is there? But if what I've done is enough to make me rank #1, then even a dog or a cow could rank #1. While he was grumbling in frustration, another notification appeared. Special reward for the #1 ranked individual has been delivered. Do you accept? The notification bar only had an accept button, no decline button. Jin sighed. Do you think I'm an idiot? Click accept and then go back to life as before. I absolutely will not press it. I'll continue to ignore it. One trouble hadn't passed before another arrived. Jin was stunned again by new notification lines. Previously revoked privileges have been partially restored. Restoring privileges. Successfully restored access to Korea's Channel 1. Automatically connecting to Channel 1. Hearing this, Jin's eyes widened and he froze. Jin tried tapping the screen to change it, but it was all useless. What is this damn system doing? Currently, all other hunters were in an uproar. Some thought it was just a case of a duplicate name. Others insisted that hunter nicknames couldn't be duplicated. Jongmin messaged all other hunters. I know everyone is very confused right now. I am still in the process of verifying, so please be patient. Another message was sent. This is a question for Jongmin. Is it possible that the gate has opened again? Jin suddenly felt his whole body go dizzy. What, the Incheon gate opened again? When I came out of the gate, I didn't see it anymore. If the Incheon gate opens again, I'll have to go back to that hell once more. I'll find everyone who was left behind there. I have to pay the price for being a survivor. A clattering sound from behind made him jump. He sighed in relief when he realized it was just a liquor bottle knocked over by a cat. Jin continued to open his phone. "Hey Nexum, help me find a way to leave the Hunter Channel group chat." After searching, there were absolutely no results. Jin could only sit there holding his head in frustration. Damn it. The Awakened Management Bureau immediately recorded this new ranking announcement. Many unexpected things have occurred that we have not yet controlled. We are holding this press conference so that you can grasp the current situation. This ranking is not due to a system error, nor is it due to duplicate Hunter nicknames, nor is it because someone is using an account under Jin's name. I know this is hard to believe, but according to our internal investigation results, Jin is currently still alive. All the reporters present at the press conference were very surprised. How can you be so sure, ma'am? Besides Jin, are there any other survivors? 8 years ago, the Awakened Management Bureau declared that all hunters who entered the West Sea Gate had perished. So why has the Bureau changed its statement like this? If Jin is alive, where is he now? Standing before hundreds of cameras, the female representative replied, "We will expand our investigation to find the most accurate answers. Please wait a little longer. Thank you very much." Jin was also watching TV now. The head of the Awakened Management Bureau. She looks very different from her appearance 8 years ago. In my memory, Ham Seok-jung was always someone who acted when it was a legitimate matter, and there was irrefutable evidence. She is an extremely cautious person, as steadfast as Mount Tai. Why would she assert something so firmly? Just because Jin logged into the Hunter's Channel 1 couldn't possibly make her hold a press conference and make such a statement. Just as he turned off the TV, Yiong appeared looming at the door, startling Jin. "What are you doing?" "So you were at the shop?" Jin asked worriedly, "What are you planning to do?" In his heart, he was actually very restless. Could it be that he knows something about me? What is he planning to do? Yiong, after a face as taut as a bowstring, rushed over. "That's a question I should be asking. Why didn't you contact me first?" "Damn it, I've been waiting for 2 weeks." While Yiong was grumbling and glaring, Jin was still sweating, not knowing how to answer. "Because I didn't contact him now, he's all worked up. I didn't intend to ignore someone who was waiting for me to contact them first. But if I have to be honest, it's not that I didn't want to contact him, but that I forgot." Jin turned away and said dismissively, "I'm sorry I haven't responded to your transaction offer yet, but I've been too busy. Besides, I've been thinking a lot about it." Yiong, not listening continuously, showed a mocking expression. "Amazing. So you've been thinking about it too, huh?" Hearing this tone, Jin became even more wary. Why is this kid talking like he's criticizing me today? Could it be because he lost the #1 position to Jin? That's right. He's been #1 for 6 years. Suddenly being robbed of it, his temper has become even more petulant and difficult. Jin turned to look at Yiong with an eye of pity. "What's with that look?" "Ah, it's nothing. Good luck." Yiong continued to glare. "Are you messing with me now?" Jin waved his hand dismissively. "Messing with you, I'm extremely sincere." Yiong grimaced and complained again. "All right then. Who did I film a commercial for, and yet that person ignored me for 2 whole weeks? Hyung, do you know you're terrible?" Hearing this, Jin immediately flared up. "That's right. What about that commercial? Why did you suddenly film that kind of commercial?" Yiong feigned innocence. "I heard you only like people who do commercials. What can I do?" Jin continued to freeze. "Where did you hear that damn tabloid news?" Lisa Yiong held up his hand and started counting. Jong-min Hanbi. Then Yiong pointed to Hanbi's photo stuck on the wall. "What are you waiting for, Hyung? Why don't you sell that on Tomato Market already?" Jin didn't answer, but thought, I want to do that too. Is this kid having another tantrum? After haggling for a long time, Yiong got to the main point. "So in short, after 2 weeks of thinking you have an answer right," Jin replied. Let's make a deal. But I have a few conditions." Yiong pulled a blue stone out of his spatial inventory. Both you and I are the type of people who want concrete evidence. Jin looked puzzled. A magic stone recorder. Are you planning to record it? What if the recording gets leaked? Yiong promised. I'll only use it to listen back and refer to when drafting the contract, then I'll destroy it immediately. Jin looked at it with pity. Such an expensive thing, and he uses it like a disposable recorder. Yiong pressed the button to start the recording process. Negotiation. Jin got straight to the point. First, I will not work for you during the Hangover Soup Shop's opening hours. No matter how many requests you have, you'll have to wait until the Hangover Soup Shop closes. I will only work for you from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Second, help me register as a hunter. Yiong froze upon hearing this. Didn't I tell you last time that I need a hunter that few people know the better? Jin continued to explain, I know. Let me finish. In fact, Jin had no intention of returning to being a hunter. But now the situation is different. They have discovered his existence. For convenience in the coming days, he needs a completely new identity unrelated to Jin, the famous hero. He proposed to Yiong, you also know that hunters operate in different ranges depending on their rank, right? My condition is that you just need to help me get the lowest rank. E rank or D rank hunters are quite common, so people won't pay attention to me. My final condition is to heal that old woman, that's all. No more conditions. Lisa Yiong immediately accepted. All right, then now it's my turn. Then Yiong handed Jin a thorn. This item is called a laurel thorn used for S-rank contract transactions. Once blood is dripped onto this blade, the absolute contract cannot be broken. Additionally, it has the ability to curse anyone who breaks the contract. Yiong leaned in with a very suggestive expression. Do you want to stab yourself, or should I stab you? Jin, a whole head shorter, looked up coolly. Of course I'll do it myself. Why would I let you stab my hand? Yiong smirked mockingly. Well, sometimes there are people who like to stab in strange places. Some people even stab themselves in the thigh when I tell them to stab their hand. Jin put on a grumbling expression, wanting to lecture. There's no way I'd be foolish enough to destroy a contract that was so hard to reach an agreement on. Do I look like an idiot to you? Yiong held up the thorn, his face looking a bit lewd. I'm very good at stabbing, you know. It doesn't hurt at all when I stab like an ant bite. And if it's you, I can be even gentler. No pain at all, guaranteed precision, no bleeding. Jin's head throbbed. Shut up and stop talking nonsense. After pricking his palm with the thorn, Yiong handed Jin a vial. Drink this. The purple liquid bubbling inside was a specialized antidote. Holding it, Jin looked bewildered. This looks a bit suspicious. This is your specialized medicine. Yiong, while pulling off his gloves, said, What if you kick the bucket after signing the contract? That wouldn't do. So drink it now. Jin drank it like an ordinary person, but in reality only he knew that even if Yiong hadn't given him the antidote, he already had poison resistance. But, well, he didn't really want to tell Yiong that. After it was done, Yiong pricked his own palm with the thorn, then tightly grasped Jin's hand face to face. I have one condition: you must never betray me. Right after those sweet words, a powerful light emanated. Jin's entire body was constricted by magical threads. The system announced special ability Basilisk Toxin S-Rank is being activated. After a few moments of sharp pain and shock... Wait a minute. This is the detoxification ability I got after catching the basilisk monster in the West Sea Gate. It doesn't react to mild toxins. This ability has never truly been activated before. Why is it like this now? After vomiting blood, his body dizzy, Jin swayed about to faint. This damn brat. He pumped a load of poison into my body and is still yelling like that. Yiong, quite alarmed, rushed over to support Jin, repeatedly calling, Hyung, wake up! His head felt very hot now. Where did this brat get the confidence to inject toxins into someone else's body? Not to mention that antidote from before didn't do a damn thing. Why is an S-rank detoxification ability so slow? Is something wrong? After a moment of delirium, Jin glared, but in reality he couldn't see anything clearly. The system announced, "Detoxification in progress. Basilisk toxin, S-rank has been activated." In Jin's mind, there was a constant stream of complaints against Lisa Yiong. If I didn't have a special detoxification ability, what would you have done? And so Jin continued to vomit violently, stunning Yiong. Yiong reached into his spatial inventory and hurriedly found several vials of antidote. "Hyung, open your mouth. Open your mouth. Cha U Hie." Likely Yiong, calling Jin by his full former name in panic. Soon after, Jin escaped death's door and coughed repeatedly. Yiong sighed in relief. "Hyung, are you okay?" The system announced, "Detoxification process completed. Thanks to the effect of the Basilisk Toxin S+ rank ability, you have achieved immunity to the detoxified poison." In that moment of near-death experience, Jin vaguely wondered if it was thanks to his special detoxification ability or the liquid that Brat gave him that he recovered so quickly. He was already tired, but Yiong, not understanding, kept shaking him back and forth. "Hyung, can you see me? Can't you speak? If you can't speak, just blink." Jin's face contorted, not from fatigue, but from extreme annoyance. "If I could open my mouth, the first thing I'd do is curse. I'd curse this brat's entire family line." Yiong looked Jin up and down. Jin lay motionless, having no choice but to endure. Honestly, I'm speechless. Putting together all the information from what he said, that poison is clearly extremely potent, capable of damaging eyesight, hearing, the larynx, and even internal organs. An S-rank hunter has to endure this much pain, and he dared to give it to someone he didn't even know was a civilian or a hunter. Yiong, at this point, no longer called Jin Hyung, but used his real name, Cha U Hie. Jin glared, struggling internally. Should I just open my mouth and say it? Soon after, Jin opened his eyes, truly lucid, but saw Yiong looking even more surprised than him. Why does he look so alarmed? I was even planning to give him a piece of my mind. Maybe I shouldn't. Normally his face always looks so cocky, but today he looks quite charming, huh? After sitting up, Jin wiped the saliva that had been drooling until now and feigned calmness. "I'm still fine. It's not like my larynx is damaged, but this is the first time since forever that I've experienced such a brutal toxin. Do you have a conscience, you brat?" Yiong put on an innocent face. "Then why weren't you talking? Were you teasing me?" Jin smirked. "I was afraid if I opened my mouth I'd curse you. What else? Any objections?" Yiong scratched his head, looking defeated. "I give up on you. So annoying." "Well, he did give me precious medicine." Jin reluctantly thanked him. "Well, thank you then. I don't know what you gave me, but it must be very expensive medicine, right?" Yiong put on a mocking face again. "You even thanked the person who poisoned you. Truly a man of virtue." Jin, irritated, said, "It was just a thank you, and this kid has another fit." Looking at his still glowing hand, it seemed the contract had been formed. Jin turned to Yiong. "The contract has been signed. Now you can explain to me what you refused to tell me last time, right?" After a sigh, Yiong began. "I'm tracking down those who distribute Mai Thui, likely a specific drug name. I told you up to this point, right? Generally, hunters are more sensitive than ordinary people in all aspects, but their senses are especially more developed than ordinary people. Because of that, they live a life with many dissatisfactions and little joy. This Mai Thui is sold very cheaply. They can access it easily anywhere. The easier the access, the faster they sink into addiction. Those who are addicted will want more intense stimulation, just like how they keep drinking alcohol, even though they know no matter how much they drink, they can't get drunk. Hunters can only get drunk when they drink special alcohol made exclusively for hunters. Gradually, the amount of mai thui absorbed will increase until they start feeling that it's not enough. At that point, they will directly seek out the suppliers. Those who are heavily addicted to that extent have mostly already transformed or are about to transform. The suppliers will take these individuals who willingly walk into the trap. Mai thui is merely bait to gather these individuals who are considered test subjects. As he spoke, Yiong reached out and pulled Jin up, looking very affectionate. Jin also looked straight into Yiong's eyes and asked a small question. Are they trying to find a method to awaken isn't awakening an ability chosen by the system? Yiong replied, That's right. But guess what? The system bases its selection of who will awaken on the system reacts to a fervent desire. That means they are conducting experiments to create artificial awakened. You also know that normally the system is attracted to and seeks out people with extremely fervent desires. Right? The will to live. The desire not to leave this world. Praying not to die is also a form of desire. But in reality, there are also people who harbor resentment towards the system's choices. Do you understand what I'm saying? The system is an ultimate and powerful force. Most people will live according to its will, but those who feel the system's choice is unfair think differently. The organization I mentioned earlier are those who believe that humanity's strength must be awakened by humanity itself. Jin, puzzled, asked further, Let's say they create artificial awakened. Then what? I don't remember. I think they said something about having to prevent the apocalypse or something. Jin looked bewildered, not understanding anything about the apocalypse. But Yiong was the same. When he heard about that issue, Yiong found it ridiculous and didn't listen further. Countless people believe that once a gate appears, the apocalypse will follow immediately. That was a story from 11 years ago. In today's world, people can predict when and where a gate will open. Yet there are still people who think there will be an apocalypse. Jin kept thinking vaguely like that with thousands of questions in his mind. After a long explanation, Yiong concluded, In short, right now, I don't have anything I need your help with. Let's start by registering you as a hunter first. Tomorrow I'll send someone here. Jin still had one more thing to say. The poison from you brat is still spilled on the floor. You have to clean it up before you can leave. And my blood, too. The next morning it was the usual work of cooking hangover soup. Standing in front of 2 bubbling pots, suddenly someone called from outside the door. As soon as he stepped out, this young man greeted him first. Hello. It's nice to meet you for the first time. May I ask if you are Cha U-hye? Yes. That's me. Captain Yiong sent me here. People usually call me Little Miracle Who Gets By Without Working. Jin politely invited the young man in. As soon as he entered, he sat down and rummaged around. Today, I will be the one to take you through all the registration procedures and power tests. Please wait a moment. He pulled out a board and gave Jin a crash course titled Tactics for Achieving the Lowest or a Low Rank. While Jin was still bewildered, not understanding what that board was, the young man continued, We need to minimize attention as much as possible. I heard your goal is to get a low rank. To build a more accurate strategy, please complete this survey. The survey contained a series of questions with content such as, First question, when registering as a hunter, what rank do you want to receive? Write the desired rank in the box below. Ranks from S to F. Second question, what is your rank according to the system's ranking? If you do not want to reveal your rank information, please fill it out according to the example below. Third question, do you agree to use drugs or charms to fake your rank? Not knowing what noun to use to address the young man, Jin reluctantly said, Hey, you, Mr. Little Miracle Who Gets By Without Working. Question number 3 seems a bit off. The man hearing this tilted his head. If you want to hide your abilities, you have to accept that. This is obvious content. Jin felt uneasy. Obvious, what is this kid, a scammer? The man continued to explain hesitantly to Jin. First, when you go to measure your strength, the first thing you need to do is fill out the information on the form in handwriting. Then they will measure your strength with a device made by the Management Bureau. During the strength measurement, they will ask you to demonstrate your strongest skill for them to see. For handwriting, you can just write sloppily. As for the strongest skill, you can just pick one at random for them to see. The most important issue here is the measuring machine. That measuring machine gives extremely accurate results, so it's easy to fool those civil servants there, but fooling that machine is very difficult. However, the measuring machine uses magic stones as an energy source, so it won't react to ordinary people, but will only react to awakened individuals. This means we will follow the system's principles exactly, but add a little special scientific knowledge. That way we can use the system's principles to trick the measuring machine. That's why you have to use drugs or charms to lower your rank. Hearing this, Jin seemed convinced. After understanding, he no longer hesitated and immediately filled out the survey. Desired rank E or D. Current rank according to the system. Strong. Agree to use charms or drugs to fake rank. After finishing, the little miracle who gets by without working guy exclaimed, "All right, let's go. My car is parked right outside." Jin wondered how long it would take to complete the registration. Little miracle who gets by without working hesitated and replied, "Even if it takes a long time, it'll only be about an hour, no more." After checking the time, Jin decided to leave the stove on low heat and turn it off when he returned. Anyway, bone broth needs to simmer for a long time for the flavor to be rich. If I return on time, there won't be any problem with the shop. As soon as they got into the car, little miracle who gets by without working chattered nonstop. "We won't be going to the official registration center of the Awakened Management Bureau. We'll go to the temporary registration center in Wangjin district. They work faster there and fewer people pay attention, and there are also fewer strong hunters." Jin felt a bit uneasy. That place was only established recently, right? If so, it'll be even more noticeable. "No, brother. The center in that district has been established for about 3 months, so they're also quite lax. Some buildings are still planned, not even finished yet. Do you see the black box in the front? There's a pair of bracelets in it. Try them on. Those are A-rank Ouroboros shackles. Once you wear this pair, you'll be cursed with a charm that reduces strength. If you want to lower your rank, the quickest and most convenient way is to use an item with a charm." Jin looked surprised. "Using this to fake rank won't be discovered, I thought. If they saw someone wearing an item, they'd catch them immediately." Little miracle who gets by without working affirmed quite confidently. "It's okay. The procedure for checking items carried by individuals only applies to those who are already hunters coming to re-register. For newly awakened individuals coming to measure their strength, they don't check. Someone who hasn't even registered as a hunter, where would they get items? Unregistered people can't even use Hunter Market. Besides, who doesn't want a high rank? Who would want a low rank?" After such reasonable explanations, Jin no longer hesitated and put them on. Little miracle who gets by without working continued. "Of course, I'm not talking about your case. In short, that should be enough to lower your rank, right? If it's still not enough, you'll have to drink more strength-reducing antidote." Jin, after trying to flex, felt his body heavier, but it still wasn't enough. Little miracle who gets by without working had anticipated this situation and had already prepared a drink. Ta-da! A rank strength-reducing poison. This is a masterpiece that the Pado team's poison invention team spent a whole day and night to make. The captain promised to pay a 300% bonus, so everyone was fired up to work overtime. Hearing this, Jin couldn't help but feel a pang of regret, feeling it was a waste of money. But since it wasn't his money, he thought about it a little less. After drinking it, little miracle who gets by without working turned and smiled excitedly. "Hey, what do you think? It definitely worked, right? But if you feel unwell, you must tell me immediately. I'll give you the antidote right away." But even after drinking several vials, Jin still didn't feel anything different, his face impassive. Does this medicine take a while to work after drinking it or something? Little miracle who gets by without working was severely shocked to see Jin completely unaffected. Good heavens, what is happening? According to research results, the effect of the medicine should appear immediately after you drink it. During experiments, research staff drank only one bottle and collapsed their ranks, dropping so much that the system had to issue a warning. They were even afraid that their strength wouldn't be recoverable after decreasing, so they were scared to death. The young man kept muttering and rambling while Jin. The more he listened, the stranger he felt. Could this just be a trial version Jin drank until the third bottle was empty? Not a drop left, feeling a little worried. Mr. Miracle, this strength-reducing poison, has it been approved for transaction on the system yet? What are you asking? It has. Our captain also drinks it, although no matter what kind of poison he drinks, it has no effect. Could it be that you also have toxins in your body already? I haven't heard about this. The captain only repeatedly warned that you are very susceptible to poison, so I must pay close attention to your condition. Hearing this, Jin knew it was useless. Well, besides this method, is there any other way to lower the rank? Little miracle who gets by without working suggested. Now I'll go to Hunter Market and buy up all the strength-reducing charms. I have to live a life where I can spend money freely at least once, and it's someone else's card, too. Jin, hearing this, immediately objected firmly. Little miracle who gets by without working looked dejected. Of course you'll object because that would spread rumors immediately, right? Or should we go back and when we think of another strategy, we can implement it? Then I have a business trip abroad, so it'll probably be about 3 weeks. Jin's face immediately showed annoyance. This kid? How can he say that? Seeing Jin complain, the man cowered. I'm sorry. Actually, all the methods I found today were things I racked my brains to think of. This center will officially operate when those buildings you see which are still using containers are completed. Maybe by the time I get back from my business trip. Jin sighed. So, in short, if we want to take advantage of the opportunity while they're not paying attention to this place, we have to register today. Arriving with a not-so-happy face, Jin reluctantly stepped inside. As soon as he opened the door, someone greeted him. Hello, what can I do for you today? I'm here to register as a hunter. Oh, the staff member worked enthusiastically. Please present your citizen ID card and fill in your phone number here. Then please wait a moment. While scribbling on the paper, Jin still didn't understand why he finally decided to go in. I don't know what his final trick is, but, well, there's no other way anyway. Luckily, just as he said, the civil servants here are all ordinary people. After submitting the application, the staff member continued to ask, Congratulations on awakening your abilities. How long have you been awakened now? Please come this way for an examination. Jin cooperated enthusiastically, bluffing, I've been awakened for 3 days. Who knew he had awakened 11 years ago? Please fill in more information here and clearly state the skill you will perform for the machine to assess your strength. You don't need to list all your skills, just one skill, the one that is easiest to visually assess. Jin opened his status bar to check. Viewing information about Cha Yu-Hae. The amount of information was vast. Switching to summary mode. Hunter name Jin, gender male, rank. Currently reduced due to using a special charm. Trait, basilisk toxin. S+, trait, physical enhancement. S+, trait, poker face. B special trait, skilled hands. S special trait, all-seeing eye. S+, skill seeker's eyes. S+, skill. Heart, piercer. S, skill, silent steps. S. Jin began to think about which skill would be appropriate to use. I have to choose a skill that isn't too conspicuous and is easy to hide. Most of them are skills Jin has used before, so he doesn't want to show them. If I reveal that I have these skills, I'll be caught immediately. After some hesitation, he decided to take a gamble. First, I'll just take a hit. Then I'll write down here that my skill is solid body. The words Jin wrote in the report were specifically My body is very hard, probably D rank. Can enhance the body to a solid level. When the female staff member read it, she looked puzzled. Your body is solid. This ability roughly helps to enhance defense. It's a defense-type skill. Jin feigned ignorance. Probably, I'm not too sure. Finally, the young man was taken into the testing room. Next, we'll do a test. You just need to receive a blow in your activated ability state. If you're a D rank awakened, you might still be slightly affected by external attack power. Will that be okay? Jin strode forward with long steps as if wanting to get this over with. Yes, I'm fine with it. Once inside, Jin cracked his joints like it was real, looking utterly pathetic. But for some reason, the female staff member outside was impressed. This calm attitude is truly admirable. It's rare these days, so he'll definitely get into a medium or small-sized team. The female staff member continued to speak into the room. If it hurts too much when you take the hit, you must tell me, okay? I'll give you recovery medicine. Jin seemed ready. He thought, if I use my skill, I won't take damage from external force, but I still have to pretend like it hurts like hell. The robot began to raise its club and strike. The moment the club touched Jin's shoulder, it shattered. Jin was dumbfounded, as was the female staff member. Wait a minute, I thought it would be more intense. Why is it so light? Well, since it's come to this, I have no choice but to become a Hollywood actor. Jin continuously cried out in pain, one hand clutching his shoulder. Oh my God, why does it hurt so much? It really hurts, he thought. Just bear with it, bear with it. At this point, I'll just act. Don't they check the quality of the equipment or something? These civil servants are really terrible at their jobs. The female staff member began to look at him with a puzzled expression. The skill you're currently using, is it really D rank? At this point, Jin didn't dare to look her in the eye, afraid he wouldn't be able to fool her, but still tried to answer, yes, it's a D rank skill. The staff member looked puzzled. How could a wooden sword that hard break? Jin still clutched his shoulder, his mouth whispering, I wrote body enhancement, but actually I don't really know how it can enhance me or to what extent, but I'll have to compensate for it, right? The staff member startled. Huh? No, not at all. Instantly, Jin activated his B-rank poker face skill to manipulate her psychologically. Is this very expensive? Immediately, the female staff member broke out in a sweat, blaming herself. How did this happen? I accidentally misspoke to someone who just awakened not long ago. He just awakened, so he's extremely, incredibly, and very sensitive. People who have just awakened have to adapt to their sudden transformation, so they will be extremely sensitive. Some people even stay awake for 72 hours straight, unable to sleep. I have to treat them very delicately, gently, and tenderly as if facing a time bomb. Even a small impact can cause a big problem, so I must be very gentle. Thinking that the female staff member immediately changed her attitude. It's okay. These mannequins are old anyway. When we move to the main headquarters, we plan to replace them. Jin's eyes lit up. Oh, really? Yes, don't worry too much. First, the skill demonstration is done. Let's move on to the strength measurement. Although his face appeared calm, his heart was in turmoil. Jin had just avoided one disaster only to encounter another. The next ordeal arrived immediately. He was led to a measuring machine. Please take off your shoes and stand here. The screen will display your strength value and rank as assessed by the system. Mr. Yu Haye, you just need to stand up. This is easy, right? Jin was restless and worried. The problem is, it's too easy. I used the bracelet to lower my rank, but it only went down to A rank. That's still a huge discrepancy from the D or E rank I want. The measuring machine. First, I'll just get measured. If the result is higher than D rank, I can just smash the machine, right? If so, I'll have to distract that staff member or lure her out of the room. Jin decided to speak up, feigning a question. May I ask? Immediately after a play more real than reality unfolded, he swayed, saying, My shoulder where I took the hit earlier is really hurting. Can I have some recovery medicine? The female staff member looked flustered and agitated. Oh, the medicine is currently in the warehouse, so I have to go get it. Please wait a moment. Jin had to seize the opportunity. Yes, while I wait, I'll stand on the measuring machine first. Anyway, the result comes from the machine. The staff member, without a second thought, dashed off. You can do that. I'll go quickly and come back. When the machine beeps, you can step down and see the result. As expected, after the scan was complete, the machine displayed the following result. No 93 Cha-Uhie achieved A rank. Jin was furious. I knew it. This damn machine. Since it's come to this, the only way is to destroy the evidence. I'll just use a little bit of force, that should be fine, right? Before he could do anything. Jin froze. Just then, the female staff member burst through the door, rushing in frantically. Hunter Nim, are you okay? Jin immediately ran out to block her, a horrified expression on his face. Right behind the female staff member was a gate. Elsewhere, little Miracle, who gets by without working, was still sitting in the car enjoying a delicious cup of bubble tea. Just the report left, and then I'm done. I wonder if Mr. Yu Hai successfully received his D rank certificate. If he didn't get D rank, it's no big deal. Captain Minky, this little Miracle, will forge the documents perfectly flawlessly. While still relaxing, suddenly the ground shook violently. Minky frowned, his face pale. What's happening? Could it be? Outside, many support personnel were running for their lives, shouting, "Move quickly! A Grade 5 gate has appeared at the Wangjin District Affiliated Registration Center. The Management Bureau has been contacted." Minky clutched his head, shocked. You've got to be kidding me. This young man had just messaged Captain Lisa Yiong not long ago. In an instant, Jin was in another space. At first, he had rushed into the gate too quickly and felt dizzy and nauseous. Now he had finally stabilized. Looking around, the young man tentatively assessed. It seems this gate isn't very dangerous. I don't know if it's lucky or unlucky. All the people sucked into this gate have been scattered everywhere, so I can't see anyone. I need to hide my identity so I can't go around saving people. But I can help them by reducing the number of monsters in the gate. I need to deal with the master of the gate for the gate to disappear. The rescue team should be here soon, but what about the shop's evening sales? Electronic devices don't work inside a gate, so I can't check what time it is now. I wonder if the shop has burned down. Just thinking about it is enough to make me dizzy. The problem is, I don't know how long it will take for the rescue team to arrive. The rescue team will consist of hunters from the Gate Management Department and hunters from the Awakened Management Bureau. In addition, there will be hunters affiliated with teams that received rescue requests, a combination of many hunters. And the Hangover Soup Shop is a familiar place that hunters frequent. What if among the hunters in the rescue team there's someone who has been to the shop before? That would be quite awkward. They'll recognize me immediately, no matter how much I hide it. The fact that I went to the center to register and was unfortunately sucked into the gate will be known to them all. Damn it. Is this my unlucky year or something? Since it's come to this, I have to take advantage of the time while the rescue team is busy helping the survivors. Jin activated his Seeker's Eyes. He wanted to eliminate the master of the gate and escape to return to the shop as quickly as possible. Just as a female awakened was preparing to enter the gate, a young man rushed over to report, Senior Captain Yiong of the Pado team has arrived to deal with the gate. The woman looked very shocked. What? That's impossible. Just then, Yiong also walked in with a radiant aura. Are you guys here for a prayer meeting or something, gathering in front of the gate entrance like this? You look so harmonious. This female, awakened, still couldn't believe her eyes. It really is Lisa Yiong. He's never responded to support requests before, has he? She had to run over again and ask, Are you really here to help? Yiong nodded calmly. What else? Why haven't you gone in yet? Ah, the support team affiliated with the Awakened Management Bureau is on its way. I was planning to wait for them and go in together. Yiong looked uninterested and just strode inside. No need. You guys go find the survivors. The young man standing next to the female awakened jumped up and down. Senior, what do we do? What else can we do? Lisa Yiong will deal with the master of the gate himself. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Focus on finding and rescuing the survivors. Prepare more gas masks than the number of people in the team. Bring all the antidotes and items with detoxification functions. If you don't want to die from Lisa Yiong's poison, hurry up. Elsewhere. Jin was still strolling under a sky of flowers. There it is. The master of the gate is inside here. It would be good if I could use fire, but I don't have a lighter right now, so I'll just punch it and it should break. And so Jin used his strength and punched with a loud thud, creating a hole in the tree trunk. The system announced, "You have entered the Garden of Life, the lair of the Gate Master." As soon as Jin stepped in, the deer lying curled up immediately opened its eyes. The surrounding leaves rustled, and the purple flowers simultaneously transformed into demonic creatures, crawling towards Jin. Upon activating his power, Jin startled. Huh. Why is my power reduced? Am I being suppressed? Ah, right. I'm currently in a weakened state. This bracelet. I don't dare take it off recklessly. What should I do if I can't use my strength? I'll have to use items. He pulled out the Basilisk Fang S-Rank from his personal inventory, a sword forged by a skilled craftsman from a basilisk's fang. With one swig, the sword will start spreading poison to the user's body. Suddenly, the sword turned pitch black, making Jin uneasy. Just as the demonic creatures were rushing towards him like mad, he could only twist and turn to dodge their attacks, his mouth continuously cursing the sword. "Are you crazy? Don't you remember me?" At this moment, the basilisk fang began to enter a state of thought, and finally it delivered the sentence, "The unworthy are not permitted to use it. You won't even be able to swing it." After checking the compatibility level, the system warned, "Jin's information does not match. This will not obey the commands of anyone weaker than me." Jin, frustrated, snapped, "Hey, are you kidding me? Even if I'm A rank now, I'm still your master and you don't recognize me." The system announced, "Basilisk Toxin trait S rank has been activated." The sword proceeded to release poison into his body, but then the poison was immediately neutralized. The basilisk fang continued to be in a state of thought. "Huh, Big Brother Poison, why are you here?" The reason it asked such a silly question was that the sword was made from a basilisk's fang, so it considered basilisk toxin its big brother. Jin was genuinely annoyed now. "Ah, seriously, you don't recognize your master, but you recognize your own kind so quickly, huh?" There wasn't much time left. The master of the gate let out a shriek and a series of tree roots shot straight towards Jin. With skillful speed, he dodged them all, then counterattacked with the basilisk's sword. He was in a weakened state, so he didn't know if he would be overwhelmed by the storm of leaves. Jin glanced down. "It's okay if I get injured, but if I bleed it will cause trouble and might even spread to the hangover soup shop." The basilisk's sword threatened, "If you throw this body of mine away, I won't let you off." You hear? Jin was too disappointed and dejected at this point. What's the use of a weapon that doesn't even recognize its own master? "Having no other choice," Jin shouted provocatively, "Master of the gate, you idiot!" And so Jin charged forward, wielding the sword that wouldn't obey him. He had no other choice but to resolve this quickly to avoid injury. Just as he was bending over, preparing to strike, someone from behind covered his mouth and grabbed him. Yiong had entered here at some point. One hand holding him, he whispered into his ear, "Yiong, turns out you're not so ordinary after all, huh?" With just one hand, Yiong counterattacked, finishing off the gate master, making it vanish. Yiong reluctantly asked Jin, "Where on earth did you get the confidence to confront the master of the gate? You're still under the effect of a strength-reducing charm." Just then, a young man approached, looking deeply impressed and admiring. "See, I told you he knows no fear. That's our captain for you." He finished it in one go. Yiong held out his hand. "Hey, bring that over here. There's a spare mask, right? Give it here quickly, and the gloves, too." After taking the gas mask, Yiong looked into Jin's eyes as if conveying affection. "This is a gas mask. When I let go, you put it on immediately, okay? After putting it on, Yiong continuously patted Jin and comforted him. You must have been very scared, right? Breathe slowly, take your time. Jin still looked bewildered. Why are you here? Yiong replied gently. What's wrong? Did you think I wouldn't come? Jin replied coldly. You have no reason to come. Yiong sighed. Hyung, you really have no faith in others. Jin continued to grumble. No need to mock. In short, why did you come here? I came to get you out, Hyung. But are you crazy? I didn't expect to come in and find you fighting the master of the gate. Jin's face fell a little regretful. Damn it. If I had known, even if I had to fight until my clothes were torn, I should have dealt with it and escaped first. Minky ran over panting to remind him, Captain, it's good that you care about our esteemed guest, but there's something you need to consider. Since the captain used poison to make the gatemaster vanish, there's a possibility that the gate's magic stone held by the gatemaster has also vanished. Just then, loud rumbling sounds erupted. Seeing Jin's bewildered face, Minky pointed upwards. Ah, Mr. Uhye, you don't understand this part, huh? Let me explain what the gate's magic stone is. The gatemaster holds the magic stone at the center. If the stone is destroyed, the gate will disappear. It's not inherently dangerous just like that. If the gate disappears, everyone who was pulled inside it from the living to even the deceased in grotesque forms will be returned to the exact spot that was once the entrance of the gate. To minimize the shock caused by the grotesque images people usually make, the gate disappear right after rescuing the survivors. Jin now began to think, in times like these, it's best for me to avoid meeting the rescue team. While Jin was still hesitating, eyes closed in analysis, Yiong looked worried. This situation is beyond my expectations. What do we do now? Jin turned his head back, his eyes playfully reproachful. What else can we do if you're discovered to have obliterated the gate without waiting for the rescue team to finish searching for survivors? You'll be done for too. So you should memorize the words I'm about to say. I'll coordinate our stories. Elsewhere, the gate was still pushing everyone inside it out. The female hunter who had met Yiong earlier looked frustrated, muttering curses under her breath. Lisa Yiong, that damn bastard. The rescue operation isn't even complete, and he dares to obliterate the gate. Just then a hand reached out. You've worked hard, Ms. Yi Hin. Are you okay? I'm a little dizzy, but I'm fine. Where is Captain Yiong now? He's over there. But if you're planning to go confront him... Yi Hin put her hands on her hips. Why do you say that? Well, I also questioned him for a long time, but he had a very reasonable explanation for obliterating the gate. Ms. Yan Hai-jin, you also frequent the hangover soup shop in the alley, right? Yan Hai-jin scowled. What does that have to do with Captain Yiong? Jong Min shrugged and replied, the part-timer there just awakened his abilities, so he went to the registration center. Maybe that's why he got caught up in this incident. Yi Hin was surprised and startled. What, just preparing things at the hangover soup shop is already very busy, and he still got caught up in this? Yes. According to Captain Yiong, the master of this gate had the power to lure awakened individuals. Originally, Captain Yiong only intended to stay near the gate master to buy time until the rescue operation was complete. But when the captain arrived, he immediately encountered the scene of the mesmerized soup shop employee walking towards the gate master. Yi Hin, although angry, found the reason too plausible and could only grumble. Originally, I didn't intend to let him off so easily, but if he did it to save someone, what can I say? Jongmin smiled faintly. That's right. But business is business. He'll still have to pay a fine. Yi Hin broke out in a sweat. It sounds simple, but can we even collect it? Ah, well, I tried to bring it up, but Captain Yiong just stared at me as if he was about to take my life, so I had to run away quickly. Elsewhere, after escaping from the gate, Jin was sitting in the back of a car leaning against Yiong. At this point, he could only act deeply, pretending to be weak. Jin whispered into Yiong's ear, "Did they let it go?" Yiong, wanting to show off, said, "Yes. When I take action, rice is ground into bran. I told them it happened while saving someone, so they couldn't say anything. But because he's a hunter, he'll still have to pay a small fine." Jin, glancing over, whispered again, "The registration but hiding my true strength. So that's settled too. But that Minky guy, can he really fix my rank?" In the ambiguity, Yiong could only answer vaguely, "Well, if he can't even do that, he doesn't deserve to get paid. He'll take care of correcting the strength measurement data before it's transferred to the Awakened Management Bureau's data center." While still in his actor persona, Jin didn't dare to look directly, but still wanted to ask, Yiong, it seems Jongmin has no intention of leaving here yet, right?" Yiong also looked helpless. "He might even stay here until early tomorrow morning. This incident is more serious than I thought. But more importantly, are you sick, Hyung?" Jin, upon hearing this, startled, or rather shivered at this display of affection. Yiong still looked concerned. "I see you're breaking out in a cold sweat." Jin scowled. "Let go of my hand and I'll be fine immediately." Yiong still held on to Jin tightly. "Like this, Hyung, do you know you look like a madman? What are you scrutinizing me for now? I see you're very good at lying." "Leave me alone. People in the service industry have to lie to make a living. Don't try to dig any deeper. Knowing too much isn't good for you." Yiong paused upon hearing this. "You're really suspicious, Hyung." For every sentence spoken, Jin had to retort. "So what if I'm suspicious? You've already signed a contract with me anyway." Yiong became even more solicitous, even hugging him tighter. "That's right, huh? Why did I sign a contract with you? Someone this suspicious?" Jin suddenly smelled a sweet fragrance wafting through the air. In a daze, the young man startled awake. Damn it, the hangover soup shop. Fortunately, after that, everything went smoothly, partly due to many other events unfolding. Lisa Yiong had once been given a single-use piece of equipment by Hong Yi-sung. Thanks to that, Jin returned to the soup shop immediately. Both the soup pot and the shop were still safe and sound, not burned down, so the shop could still open. At this point, the young man was running for his life. There were less than 20 minutes left until opening time. Jin chopped ingredients at lightning speed. The system announced, "Congratulations, you have discovered a new power combat ability adapted to living conditions. S-Rank." He had thought that now he just had to wait for Little Miracle to fake his ability ranking, and then it would be over. After several days of being swamped with work, Jin finally had time to throw open the door for some fresh air. Just then, a postal worker rode up and asked, "Are you Cha Yu here?" Jin, bewildered, hadn't even answered when they pulled out a series of congratulatory flower wreaths sent to him. They were all ingratiating gifts. Before he could recover, behind them was a crowd of people holding flowers and fruits, their eyes shining. "Hey, part-timer, I heard you awakened your abilities. Mr. Part-timer, why didn't you tell us?" They swarmed and crowded around, making it genuinely hard for Jin to breathe. Wow, is that a flower wreath sent by Hanbi? Captain Han has had her eye on him for a long time. She sent a flower wreath right away. So quick on the uptake. "Congratulations, Mr. Part-timer. What rank did you get?" This part-timer was already very capable even before awakening. He must have gotten at least B rank right. "Are you planning to quit working at the Hangover Soup Shop?" After that, crowd came and caused a commotion. Jin hung a large, clear sign outside the shop door. "Hangover Soup Shop not closing. No wreaths, gifts, or banners. No asking about the part-timer's rank. No luring the part-timer to join your team. No recruitment HLs, hunter liaisons. Violation of any of the above will result in an immediate ban from the Hangover Soup Shop." Jin was completely defeated, his whole body aching. I thought after the gate explosion at the registration center, the information of the registered awakened would all be exposed. Luckily, they don't know my rank. That Hanbi and B and even Jongmin, they stick like leeches, not giving me a chance to react. I told them not to give gifts, but they still sneakily left them anyway. These people are so annoying. Another pile of trash from the gift boxes. Stepping outside, Jin saw a figure moving somewhat slowly, seemingly talking to someone. Jin peeked, very curious. A reporter? Or another hunter trying to sneak in a gift? But it doesn't seem like it. Who is that? Just then the girl turned her head, glanced at him and startled, clutching her head. Jin still didn't understand what was happening. She looks like a student. Why is she here? He also approached kindly and asked the student, "Are you okay, student?" "You're a student. What are you doing at a hangover soup shop at this hour?" The girl broke out in a sweat, her feet rooted to the ground, stammering. Finally, Jin invited her to sit inside the shop, made tea, and offered it politely. "Thank you, sir. I'm also sorry for coming here so suddenly." "It's okay. But what business do you have coming to a hangover soup shop? You should be at home at this hour, right? Do you need my help with something?" The girl looked scared, her eyes squeezed shut. "The thing is, I know that you, Cha-U-hee, are Jin." Hearing this, Jin's heart felt like it dropped out of his chest. Deep in his eyes, which were wide with shock, Jin still tried to act. "Jin, what are you suddenly talking about?" The girl spoke with a very confident tone. "You don't need to hide it from me, sir. It's a bit late, but please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Yuna Yoon. I'm in the 12th grade at Sabom Girls High School. Not long ago, I awakened an S-Rank mental type power." Only then did Jin vaguely remember. It seems this girl is the awakened that Jongmin and Yiong mentioned. Yuna Yoon continued to explain, "My ability is to see small fragments of the world Jia. If I told you that another world exists besides this one, would you believe me? Every time I fall asleep, I can glimpse small fragments falling from other worlds. It doesn't depend on my will. That place is both similar to and different from the world we currently live in. There are people there with clearly the same names and faces as here, but they are like completely different people. If you look carefully, you'll see that world is chaotic and disordered like in this small fragment Jia. I'm really scared. I have to say this world will also come to an end eventually." Jin sighed, trying to reassure himself. "It's hard for me to believe what you're saying." Yuna Yoon looked down. "Yes, I know you won't believe it. You might think I'm crazy. The small pieces I see in my dreams are fragments that fell from worlds that have already been destroyed. When the apocalypse could no longer be contained, that world shattered and the fragments flew here. I know you're hiding your true identity, Jin, because you have your reasons. I wasn't going to come looking for you, but please allow me to get straight to the point. I want you to help me prevent the apocalypse. I don't want to know the apocalypse is coming and then be indifferent. If I don't do anything, I'll lose what I cherish. Please look at the fragments I've seen with me. I'm begging you." After hearing these heartfelt words, Jin decided to close his eyes and begin to truly perceive. What he saw was a desolate, bleak, and cold landscape. He looked up at the sky and froze. This place looks like the West Sea Gate that I searched every nook and cranny of for 8 years. His body began to feel nauseous and dizzy. Is this what a world destroyed by being sucked into the West Sea Gate looks like? Suddenly, Jin heard a rustling sound from a distance. The girl holding a book, her face smudged, was Yuna Yoon. She looked to be around 20 years old. Yuna Yoon suddenly startled and jumped up when she saw the person standing in front of her holding a monster-slaying sword. "Yuna Yoon, what are you still doing over there? The camp is on the other side." Jin was even more surprised to discover that it was himself. This version of Jin ran towards Yuna Yoon. "I'm a little worried about Honey Bee." Yuna Yoon of this world hesitated. "I'm sorry. I just wanted to take another look around, but I got lost and ended up here. Is this place near my school? Yuna hesitated and replied, Yes, that's right. Jin of this world looked around and said, How about we take a quick look around? Let's go. If any monsters appear, I'll deal with them. We might even find some other survivors. The real Jin, hearing these words, could only nod to himself in agreement. That's me, all right. Acting like that is reasonable. Jin of the desolate world raised his hand and shushed. You have to keep this a secret from Yiong, okay? If he finds out, he'll grumble for sure. Just then, loud rumbling sounds erupted. The scene seemed to have changed. Look, clean this place up. Are there any spare carpets? It seemed this place was a camp or a rescue station. Jin's counterpart was talking to someone else. Indeed, it's low-quality medicine. It seems we'll have to make a trip to the hospital in Gyeonggi Province, Jin. Do you think that's okay? We have to go. What else can we do? Just then, Yiong appeared from nowhere and hugged Jin in that other world tightly, making the doctor break out in a sweat. Jin even glanced back very affectionately. Yiong, you're here early. How's the Dongdaemun Gate? Jin looked straight at the doctor, his eyes warning. The doctor quickly made himself scarce, leaving the two some private time. Yiong insisted on sending someone else, but Jin was firm. Don't be like that. In terms of efficiency, it's still best for me to go. Yiong continuously nuzzled Jin's cheek, as if being very clingy. Hyung, don't say silly things like them. Jin also just patted his head comfortingly. Witnessing this scene of himself being so affectionate made the real Jin almost vomit. This is a ridiculous dream, not a world fragment. According to Yuna, the small fragments of the destroyed world would be chaotic and jumbled, but even so, the appearance of Jin and Yiong in this world fragment was too clingy. I was still wondering if I should continue watching them be affectionate when that scene passed. The spaces he saw within the small world fragments were all very familiar places. White dust fell like snow, collapsed buildings were covered in smoke and dust. This space was all ruins. Everywhere there were open gates, and from them countless types of monsters he had never seen before poured out. Why is it so similar to the scene inside the West Sea Gate, where I wandered lost for 8 years? Suddenly, crackling sounds appeared, giving Jin a headache, forcing him to cover his ears. Another scene appeared before him. I'll stop them here. Everyone run. Yuna was falling, looking very worried. Wait, how can Jin alone stop so many monsters? Jin of this world patted Yun's head reassuringly. If I run away, those monsters will rush to the camp. How can everyone fight back? Don't worry, I'm fine. I'll deal with them quickly and come back. Trust me. When I give the signal, you run as fast as you can. Don't look back. All right, one more thing. You have to keep this a secret from Yiong, okay? The fragment Jin saw ended there. Jin stood frozen, thinking. Looking at the situation, it seems No. Jin can't return to the base. Other sounds continued to emanate from behind. They were the sounds of fragments falling. Jin held out his hand, looking into that fragment. Sounds like the following came from it. Hey, you think you're the only one who knows sadness. Don't act as if you're the only one who lost the world. Hanbi, calm down. I won't be silent. Do you even know how much our combat strength is lost if just you are missing? Were those who sacrificed their lives all fools? Those who are alive must continue to live. Do you know Jongmin is dead? Today, Moteo also died. Moteo, that idiot, is gone. Do you know? And so the image of Jin leaving Yiong behind and departing with H, likely Hanbi or another companion, coupled with Yiong's despairing eyes, terrified the real Jin, his heart pounding wildly. When he truly woke up and escaped, Yuna rushed to support him. Thank goodness, are you okay? He looked at her and asked, What was that just now? I don't know either. What happened at the end? I've never seen that fragment before. What on earth was it? I think maybe this world is a continuation of that world. Jin suddenly shouted, startling the girl. Wait! Calm down! Yuna flinched. I'm sorry. This is the first time I've shown this fragment to someone else, so I didn't know it would turn out like this. I'm really sorry. I thought you were pulled to another place. Jin, bewildered, asked again. Pulled to another place? What do you mean? Yuna explained that those fragments you saw just now were all connected by me. I arranged it so that when we finished viewing all the memories, we would return to this exact place. But suddenly the connecting thread broke, and you were taken to a place I completely don't know. Jin pondered. Or did someone else interfere? Yuna looked down, her right hand holding her blackened left hand. I don't know about that. This is the first time this has happened to me. Jin, seeing her badly injured hand, also looked worried, but Yuna reassured him, It's okay, sir. The management bureau will treat me. It's probably because it was the last fragment that it turned out like this. I won't tell others that you Hie are Jin. I will continue to keep it a secret in the future. But I accidentally let slip that the person who entered the Inchin Gate this time was indeed Jin. Talking privately with the bureau chief is terrifying. Well, since things had come to this, Jin didn't want to make it difficult. All right, it's okay. As long as you don't tell anyone else, I'm very grateful. Yuna continued to hesitate. There's something I think I need to tell you. This world will also come to an end, and the awakened management bureau will be looking for Jin to prevent the apocalypse. Jin was quite surprised. Looking for Jin? Yes. The awakened management bureau is still considering many options to prevent the apocalypse. But just then, Jin reappeared on the ranking chart. To confront the apocalypse, they must be sending out search teams to hunt for Jin by now. Your decision to register as a hunter once more was a wise one. The search team is considering the case that Jin lost his memory due to the shock of the gate. Therefore, they are conducting a manhunt targeting unregistered individuals or ordinary people. At this point, Jin only wished that he had really lost his memory. But it was true that if he had been a little slower, he might have ended up on their manhunt list. The contract he had signed with Yiong was now also useful. After speaking, Yuna also offered to leave. Anyway, it's late. Jin stood up abruptly. How about you go to the emergency room to check on your wound first? Your hand doesn't look too good. Yuna forced a smile. No, it's okay, sir. The management bureau will handle it for me. Don't worry. Besides, if there are no more fragments that need to be conveyed to you in the future, I won't come here anymore. It will only make you uneasy. Jin, startled, replied, It's not that bad. Yuna shook her head and smiled brightly. No, it's okay. Sometimes hunters from the Awakened Management Bureau follow me, so it's best if I don't come here. Jin was a little curious and wanted to ask more. Can I ask you one more thing? Do you know any information about those who created Artificial Awakened? After thinking for a moment, the girl replied, Yes, I do. I heard Mr. Jongmin talk about it. It seems he said those people also act with the purpose of preventing the apocalypse. But they kidnap others for experiments. Even if their purpose is the same as ours, I don't want to get involved with them. Besides that, what else did you hear? Yuna thought again and added, I heard him say there's something at Inchinport. I only overheard him talking on the phone, so I don't know the specific content. I'm sorry. Seeing the girl so fragile and already blaming herself, Jin soothed her again. It's okay. Thank you for telling me. And so Yuna bowed goodbye and left. When the girl had just left, Jin's mind reeled, thinking about another world. Does another world really exist almost identical to this one? In that world, Jin died. Jongmin and Moteo are both gone. What Yuna and I saw were just a few extremely brief moments in the past, right? It's impossible to know when the apocalypse will come and how. Waiting for an uncertain future is no different from walking forward with closed eyes. The Management Bureau will fully commit to searching because they want a pioneer to help them find the best path. What should I do from now on? If only the apocalypse had a sign to warn us. While Jin was reminiscing and wondering about the black fragment he saw today, his phone rang. It was a message from Yiong. "I have something I need your help with," Jin replied with a very short, clearly dismissive sentence. "Yeah." Yiong messaged back, complaining, "You have to reply longer." Jin, "Yeah, Ed," again, but dragged out the A, making Lisa Yiong helpless. After standing there stunned for a while, Jin chuckled. "All right. Thinking complexly doesn't help me solve anything immediately. Instead of racking my brains and doing nothing, I'll just get my hands dirty first." The reason he made this decision was because Yiong had messaged an offer, "Come to Incheon." Elsewhere, a group of people were loading boxes onto a truck. "How many today?" "Sir, lately fewer goods have been coming in. Are you guys planning to kick our port out?" "What are you saying?" "That sounds offensive. We had to risk our lives to bring these goods here. The Management Bureau and the Pado team are hunting us down fiercely. The guys in Busan are almost all caught, so Incheon is still a place to hide. Those brats who got caught, where did they slip up to get sniffed out? But the higher-ups have given instructions. This place probably won't last much longer. So tomorrow everyone move out of here immediately before the whole lot of us get caught alive." These men grumbled to each other. "Damn it. We have to move a whole bunch of stuff again. Pack the big items first. We have to get out quickly before the Management Bureau finds us. Divide the drugs into small portions and take them with us." "Yes, we understand the Songpa district side reported that someone is about to enter the transformation phase. They're requesting some more drugs." They revealed all their secret information to each other, not knowing that Jin was watching them with binoculars and taking notes of everything. While taking notes, he thought, they mean they're in charge of supplying items to each facility. It was hard enough to find them. I've only been observing their movements in the early morning. I've only been monitoring them for a week now, and now they're packing up to flee. I have to report this to Yiong immediately. After contacting him, Yiong will send people right away. But will they be able to provide support in time before they disappear? It would be good if I could continue to tail these guys. What if they take a car or a boat to escape? It would be a bit difficult for me to chase them since I'm on foot. I don't have the ability to fly. If that's the case, I have no other choice but to rush into the central area to hold them back. After some thought, Jin decided to rush into the line of fire and was caught and tied up by them. "Where did this brat come from? Are you crazy running in here to attack us?" Another guy came over and asked, "Does he have any connection with the Management Bureau?" The guy standing next to Jin asked back, "Doesn't look like it, right?" The other guy just retorted, "Why are you asking me when I asked you? Haven't you checked yet?" This damn brat. He refuses to open his mouth. No official documents in his pockets. He has a hunter card in his apron pocket, but it's just a measly D rank. A D rank brat acting so cocky, he doesn't show any signs of transformation either. If you say he's an addict who sniffed out drugs here and came looking, that's not right either. He looks too sober. This guy started to act like a thug. Well, just give him a few blows and he'll open his mouth right away. The moment he touched Jin, this guy shivered his hand, aching terribly, the pain shooting up to his navel as if he had just punched a rock. He kept jumping up and down, clutching his hand and crying out in pain. The blonde guy standing behind him grumbled, "Hey, you stop faking it. You just hit him once on the head. Why are you screaming so loudly?" The other guy explained, "I'm not faking. My bones are broken." Then he handed the blonde guy a club. The blonde guy walked straight towards Jin. "What, does he have a head-hardening skill daring to look up like that? He must be pretty confident, huh? Even if you look at me like that, I won't spare your pretty face." This blonde guy was very confident, holding the club and slamming it straight onto Jin's head with an excited state. "I'll show you what pain is." However, Jin's head remained intact while the club shattered at some point. "Huh, one hit and it's broken. Is this guy's head really made of stone? You guys beat him up for me." Jin still sat motionless, letting them rush at him like mad. The blonde guy, without a moment's hesitation, laughed triumphantly. Now you're scared, right? But when he looked around, Jin was still intact, but both he and the chair had fallen over while the other men were crying out in pain, their bones broken, their whole bodies trembling. The blonde guy started to feel apprehensive. What's going on? Only then did Jin deign to speak. He pushed himself up and tore off the ropes with his bare hands. Ah, this won't do. I wanted to cooperate and act properly with you guys, but your skill level is too low. Come on, you useless bunch, rush me all at once. Let's get this over with quickly. This young man running full tilt is Choi Gu, a hunter belonging to Combat Support Team Number 1. Nickname Romantic Opener. Ranked 50th. Choi Gu came to do the mission in place of Little Miracle Minky, who had gone on a business trip abroad. His mission was to monitor the part-timer at the Hangover Soup Shop and report everything big or small to the captain. But while Choi Gu was diligently carrying out his mission, the target had disappeared. Choi Gu was flabbergasted. Huh. Wait a minute. I just glanced away for a tiny second, and he vanished. Instantly, he ran to find Jin and stopped at a place where strange sounds were emanating. This sound. Could it be that the target was caught while wandering off and is now being dragged away? The thought of Jin being pitifully tied up made Choi Gu go mad. You damn scoundrels! You're not allowed to hit the weak! Choi Gu appeared, his fists clenched, thinking, this is absolutely not because I'm afraid of losing the target and then dying at the hands of the captain. Okay? He thought he would transform into a hero, saving the damsel in distress, but who knew upon arrival he saw Jin beating these guys to a pulp. Choi Gu was flabbergasted as Minky had previously instructed. The top priority is to stick close to Mr. Yu Hae. He's a D-rank hunter, so if anything happens, you must protect him immediately. To Choi Gu, a D-rank hunter was almost like an ordinary person. But now he couldn't believe his eyes. Is that a D-rank hunter almost an ordinary person? As soon as Jin saw Choi Gu, he called out clearly, making Choi Gu flinch and only able to say, yes, sir. He straightforwardly asked, are you also on their side? Choi Gu, panicking, shook his head repeatedly. No, sir. Absolutely not. However, Jin still didn't believe him and looked at him with eyes burning with murderous intent. In this situation, of course, anyone I ask would say no. Choi Gu, scared, backed away. Is that really an ordinary part-timer from a hangover soup shop? At this point, he could only explain desperately, no, I'm really not. Jin clenched his fists, warning, don't even think about running away. Don't waste your energy uselessly. I'll catch you in one go. Choi Gu just knelt down obediently. Jin bent down, looked straight into his eyes, and said, so what were you trying to say earlier? Spit it out. If you don't speak quickly, look behind you and you'll know the consequences. Choi Gu had no other choice but to take out his business card. I'm Choi Gu, affiliated with the Pado team. The captain sent me here. He told me to protect you. After confirming, Jin laughed a very innocent laugh. You're really fast, aren't you? Well, you didn't need to come this fast. Looking at you, you understand, but I want to emphasize that my mood is not good right now. I just closed the shop to rest a bit, and I was kidnapped by these guys. Kidnapping me wasn't enough. They even beat me up because I answered them slowly. They used hammers to hit people, even baseball bats with nails to hit people. Choi Gu knew very well that Jin was deliberately trying to appear pitiful, but still had to play along. How could they? They're truly scum. Jin still transformed into an A-list actor and lamented, I was beaten so much my clothes are all torn. Look, Choi Gu also pretended to be horrified. Oh my God, those bastards, they should be fed to the fish. Jin, while whimpering, hoo-hoo, concluded with a sentence, so I just disciplined them a little bit. After saying this, Choi Gu trembled even more. Damn, disciplined them a little bit, and it's already like this. What will it be like when he disciplines them straightforwardly? Jin continued to look pitiful, adding a smile as bright as a blooming flower. Therefore, Mr. Choi Gu, please keep your mouth shut for me. Okay? I don't have the ability to erase other people's memories, so if I have to erase them, I can only use physical blows, you understand? Choi Gu began to feign amnesia. Where am I? Who are you, Mr. Part-Timer? I don't know where this is, and I don't know what happened. But if I open the door for you, does that count as me helping you? Jin, bewildered, didn't understand. Choi Gu continued. My power is that every time I open a door, I can teleport space. Jin also looked excited. Oh, this ability is suitable for delivery. But do you get a penalty when you use your power, roughly like a side effect when using medicine? Choi Gu hesitated. Ah, well, there is. Jin pried further. Tell me. I need to know what your penalty is before I decide whether to ask you to open the door. When I know the street name or the GPS location on the map, I can open a door leading anywhere. This ability can help many people move to their desired location. However, this ability uses where I'm standing as the central point. While the door is continuously connected, many people can pass through, but the farther the travel distance from the central point, the longer I will faint. And once I faint, the door will also immediately close. Jin analyzed and wondered, so now using this place as the starting point for calculation, if you open a door from Incheon to Gunsan, how many days will you faint? Choi Gu stammered, calculating. 1 day. Longer. Maybe I'll faint for about 2 days or so. Jin continued to probe. So if you open a door to Washington, D.C. in America... I've never opened a door all the way to Washington before, but I once opened a door to Toronto, Canada. At that time, the captain had an urgent business trip. I lay there from one season to the next. Jin, hearing this, felt a bit helpless. Hello. This ability is really cool, but the penalty is also too severe. In that case, I'm really sorry. But can you open the door for me? If you faint, I'll take you to the hospital, so don't worry. Choi Gu clapped his hands with a thwack as if very excited. You don't need to worry about me for that, open sesame. The magic door that leads anywhere. Damn, what kind of power is this that its name violates copyright twice just by saying it? The moment the door appeared, Choi Gu's whole body trembled violently, making Jin bewildered. What's this? Why is he suddenly trembling so violently? Wait a minute, I haven't even said where I want to go yet. Just then the door opened, and the place behind the door was Yiong's office. Jin gritted his teeth, furious at being tricked. I asked him to open a door, and he opens a door to the captain's place. What the hell? Choi Gu felt that the captain was still scarier. Doing this is the right thing. As soon as Yiong saw Jin, he took off his glasses and sighed. I heard you said you were holding them back. I was wondering what you were planning to do. So what crazy stunt did you pull? Yiong, annoyed, slammed his hand on the table and then got close to Jin's face. What did you do to make yourself look so miserable, Hyung? After sitting down properly on the chair, Yiong began his reprimand. First, I'll listen to you. Tell me, why did you rush out on your own like that? Well, I thought I could get more information to catch their tail. Besides, it would be a pity to let them get away. Yiong crossed his arms and sighed. Hyung, you don't need to go that far. The job I gave you was simply to monitor them. Controlling them, I'll send someone else with expertise to do it. Jin argued back. Compared to those guys, I can handle it faster. Like today. Yiong couldn't help but admit. It's true you helped me. This is the first time we've confiscated all the drugs. Jin, not an ounce of modesty, immediately said, See? See how cool I am. Yiong sighed. Disgusting. Jin, not wanting to stay here any longer, stood up. I did a good job with the task you gave me, so I'm clocking out. Yiong, his face a bit sulky, stared at Jin. What now, brat? It's nothing. I was just thinking, are you really planning to go home looking like that? Looking at his blood-stained shirt and his overall filthy appearance made Jin also feel a bit awkward. Yiong once again got close to him. "Don't move, Hyung.